1, 2, 1, 2. T.O.M. Teachers of Ahati. Who am I today? The scribe, been forever, but the name changes with the times. I come from a place where space is home. I go into realms where your face is gone. A change gon' come. As a teen, hypnotized deep in a sleep, party and slumber. 11 life path number, a life of death that's rebirth. Recall realities to reemerge. Soul purge, I'll lend you frequency like loan words. Before I teach, I'll spit a poem first. Step on stage, set the stage, car walking, set ablaze, divine fire. The body is divine attire, sown from words, sound frequency, awakening dreams. Don't pinch me every day I wake up, it's a home birth. Start from zero to become the heroes. Cycles of time causes expansion of mind. Potential is exponential. Gain XP, what your power made of. I've had to face self, face to fate, a double fate. What will I make of the present? I'm just trying to pet heaven. Twice great, 2 arms up, it's none to wave. It's nothing to wave. God separate the waters from the waters. Genesis 1 and 6. See, that source is thousands of years prior to a Bible even existing. It's called the pet word for heaven. Watchers of noon, primordial, pre-ordered, bringing order in order. Its law the scales will represent. A double gift, re-present, Ray is present. Ra, amen to the God inside. The crown will glow as consciousness grows. So what assignment are you on? I do my best to do my best. Lead with the left, heart out my chest. By a step out of the flesh. On my crown is the Neith, corona shining. I do my best to do my best. Lead with the left, heart out my chest. By a step out of the flesh. On my crown is the Neith, corona shining. Serpent mind winding in alignment. Straight from Orion, the origins. Dig into the root, Kemp originals, the oracle speaking. Your aura is gleaming. The sons of God, Amen Ra. Who can't afford a reason to fall below your own means, meaning reaching beyond the firmament ceiling. I see linguistics tricking us deep into sleeping. The way we live inception, I must be dreaming. Doubles, double L, square root, mirrors, reverse the image. My grip was slipping. Almost forgot the point of the mission. Statements point out all the contradictions. Blatant truth lives where my eye is foundation. Yeah, co-founded a nation. Dictionary study spells can be scary. Etymology, this here is completion. Cycle circles, dualism, wisdom. I peddle flowers. 2 eyes are watching to see through the double realm I'm healing. Never out of what's within him. Infinite reasons, just like my brother Arcad. Always remain calm against demons. Death culture, to be alive here, it's a lie here. They crossed us into thinking that death isn't living. The lies are falling through my palms, arm wide, holes in my hand. The Pope's in command, I demand the throne back. Ancient teachings, I'm a throwback. Picture that, see this moment here is cold that so black. I see through lies, why they hold that. Ocean motions, I'm flowing through noon in the boats of consciousness. My tongue is rolling, planting seeds, sowing. Neith speaking, untangled quantum DNA, spitting frequencies. I hear Christians scream hallelujah, and this ain't that the name of God is God. I must bring the order back, the scales are tipping. In the court of Allah, moonshine, Tahuti is Yah. This here is Patah, bulldozing, the one chosen. Focus, when the light hits you, just open like lotus. Melt your mind when in mind time is frozen. Blow minds, my mind is golden. Coat me in gold, I've got a gold coat round me like I'm T.O.M. Like his, when you spell my name, put 3 lines in. Scribe, presenting the law's findings. Who's he? I me, an echo of Tahuti. Yes, I do my best to do my best. Lead with the left, heart out my chest. By a step out of the flesh. On my crown is the Neith, corona shining. We do our best to do our best.
lost track of time.
Welcome.
Welcome back.
Welcome.
Can't hear you, Arcad.
There we go. All right, here we go. Welcome everybody to the Teachings of My Study Guide Sundays. Welcome back. Mic check. Can y'all hear me? Am I good up there?
Yes, you sound great.
Okay, great. Welcome everybody to a wonderful, another beautiful show. Thank you for holding it down for me, Minku. This is the Teachings of My Study Guide Sundays. Today's topic is the net of possibilities. We're going to talk about the goddess Neith today. Before I introduce everybody on the panel, we would like to begin as we do every week with our beautiful affirmation. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Anki Ma'at, Un Ns, Nintet Oset Ma'at, Min Hepapet Ma'at, Per Nhu Kui, Per Ikut. I live for Ma'at. I exist within her. I do not speak in the place of Ma'at. Every day I advance towards Ma'at. My being is surrounded in darkness. I come forth as conscious light. Welcome, everybody. Scribe, you got some background music while I do the introduction and introduce everybody?
Of course, my brother, do your thing.
Peace, welcome, everybody. I am so glad to be back. Of course, I am the mighty Arcad Infinite, and I am the chairman of the organization. I am the Techetu, and I'm a student of the master teacher, the great Tahuti Amenhotep Ra. I'm the host of this weekly book study for the Teachings of Ma'at. I'm a true-hearted follower of truth based on ancestral artifacts, a love of my people unconditionally, and dedicated to Kemet and learning the metal netta. Next, we have the architect, the scribe. The scribe is a writer, poet, spoken word artist, audio producer, and engineer, healer, spiritual advisor, consultant, and business creator. He is a master student of the Nitiru, a true follower and protector of Ma'at, a scribe of Tahuti and Ma'at. He studies under the master teacher, Saba Tahuti Amenhotep Ra. For the scribe, quality outweighs quantity. He enjoys observing reality and incorporating these observations into his writings and creations to assist in awakening of dormant DNA and reversing of negative hypnosis. Welcome back, the mighty Minku Ra. Minku Ra specializes in training and educating youth workers, counselors, and educators about art, culture, and history. He travels the world to experience how people live, and he shares it with everyone who is interested in learning from the research he has witnessed. Minku has a master's degree in entertainment and media business and has been working in the music industry and with nonprofit agencies providing program planning, promoting concerts and community events in the Madison area for over 30 years. During that time, he has facilitated the following innovative after-school programs for Madison School Recreation, Hip Hop 101, Music Production 101, and MP4 music programs for youth. And our presenter for the night is the general, the mighty Ahati Maat. Ahati Maat was taught under the great Tahuti Amenhotep Ra. He has been a serious student and teacher of Kemetic culture and history for several years. He has written multiple books, including the textbook called Journey of Your Soul series, essays, and articles. Furthermore, he hosts in-person and online classes, weekly podcasts, and periodically creates documentaries. He also has experience in public speaking and academic debating, and he is responsible for the creation of the weekly study guide, Teachings of Ma'at organization. Peace and love, everybody.
What's up?
It is great to be back.
What's up, Arcad?
Minku, you held it down for me, brother. I didn't even get a chance to really watch the show, but you brothers did great. Scribe, I got a chance to check out the first few bars. I love it. I gotta let it marinate, man. I thought I was gonna be on Mountain Time. I was on Central Time. I thought I was on Central Time. I was on Mountain Time. But it's good to be back. Peace and love to the chat. We are gonna start this show. We're gonna have a beautiful show tonight, everybody. Feels good to be back.
Welcome back. Welcome back. We missed you, brother. Glad you got back safe.
I got a lot of stories for you, brothers, man. I got a lot. The Natiru are real.
Absolutely. Peace and love to you great brothers. Peace and love to everyone in the chat. I do have a question for everyone. Let me know if you all got a notification for this live. If you check the live and it says live under our name, put a 1. But if it says upcoming or you didn't get a notification, put the number 2. I'm trying to figure something out here. I don't think something's right here, but let me check with you all. If you got a notification saying we're live, put a 1. If you didn't get one, or if it doesn't say that we're live on YouTube, put a 2.
We're getting 1s and 2s. Harass said 2. Anu said 1. Trying to bring it up now.
Okay. So some are getting it, some
Shannon said negatory. Kavantu said 1. And Enam said 2. So we're getting mixed results.
Okay, yes.
Why is that a new feature on YouTube? You can send out notifications?
No, it's supposed to do it. Like if you look right here up at our screen, it says 0 eyes. And then when I check the YouTube, it just says upcoming. It doesn't say that we're live. So I don't know. I don't know what happened.
Come on, this fat. Let's get it.
All right. Well, we'll keep moving forward.
Let's do it. They'll figure it out. They'll say, hey, wait a second. It's 5 p.m. Pacific time. I'm supposed to be somewhere. They'll come over. And if anybody in the chat is connected to anybody that you know that comes to the chat, please send them a shout out for us and tell them that we're live. We would appreciate it.
Yes, most definitely. All right, so we'll get started with the support that we received throughout the week. We always love to make sure that we acknowledge every single person who supports the teachings of Ma'at. So we will start with that. All right, and then we have the wonderful Bev Thompson. She sends 1010 for a great lesson, scribe. Love to T.O.M. Two out to you, the wonderful Bev. We definitely appreciate your consistent support for the T.O.M. and for Salva Tahuti. So 2 out to you. All right, next up we have a first-time donator. We have Trenton Donaldson. He sends 1361 for great teaching. Scribe 2 out.
This is somebody new. I've never heard about Trenton. Have you?
No, I haven't heard of Trenton. Your Cash App says Atum. I do know an Atum. I see an Atum in the chat, so let us know if that is you.
Hail to you, Atum. Hail to you.
Yes, hail to you. Peace and love to all for your support. All right, next up we have the wonderful Nito Campbell. He sends $5 and he says, for a best to do your best. Absolutely. Peace, everyone. All right, Tua to you, Nito Campbell, the most long-term consistent supporter on YouTube. This brother hasn't missed 1 week since he started donating, since he started supporting Salva Tahuti and now the T.O.M. So shout out to you, great brother Nito Campbell, who is Squano trending in the chat. All right, next up we have Komet Heru Hancock. He sends $15 for support. Also a first-time supporter of the T.O.M. So shout out to you, and peace and love to you. Great brother, Komet Heru Hancock. All right. Hold on just 1 second, you all. All right, and then last but not least, before we get started, let's go ahead and throw this up. Who has become a very, very consistent supporter, an excellent supporter of the T.O.M. and Saba Tahuti. We have Sarah Jean. She's saying $15.55 for support. Shout out to you. Shout out to everyone who has supported. We definitely appreciate all of the love and the support that you give us. Hey, the Roadrunner. Peace and love to everyone. And also, I do want to make sure that I reiterate here early, while people are here early, that we do have a Discord meeting this Tuesday coming up, the 28th at 4 p.m. Pacific time. All right, so if you're not a part of the Discord, definitely make sure you hit that link. We'll post it in the chat, and it's also in the description box. It's in the description box below. So make sure you join our Discord, and make sure you're there for our meeting. It's open for the public. Every single person is invited. So make sure you come out to let your voice be heard. Any thoughts or any ideas that you all have, or things that you're working on, or any questions that you have for the TOM, all you have to do is just join our Discord, and we'll have that going live at 4 p.m. Pacific time. And all you have to do is just hit the little section on the left side. It'll say meeting, and of course we'll post it throughout the actual Discord, and you can come up and let your voice be heard. And of course you can have your cameras on. You can show yourselves if you want to. It's not mandatory, but we can hear you. So I definitely want to put that out there before we get started early. So that is this Tuesday, March 28th at 4 p.m. Pacific time on our Discord channel. All right, and I will pass the mic. Menku, you can greet the chat if you would like to before you pass it to Ahati Maat, and let the people hear your tones.
Peace and love to the chat. Salutes, greetings, salutations to all the brothers on the panel. Much love to the chat. Thank you for your time and your energy, and for joining us this evening. Tune in, connect with Ma'at consciousness, as we all learn from the great, powerful, mighty Ahati today. I'm looking forward to this teaching. I'm so grateful to be in the presence of all that love Ma'at and are willing to learn. This is one of my safe spaces. This is a sacred space, and I give lots of gratitude to all of you for your energy. And I will pass it to Ahati.
To Mankura, that was excellent. Peace to everybody on the panel. Peace to the scribe, Menku, Arcad. Peace to the chat. Peace to you. Hold on, I'm just finishing a little organizing here. But you know what time it is. We're about to get into it. We're going to do some hailing. And before we do some hailing, I want to know how everybody's doing in the chat. So if you're doing good, let me get a 1. If you're doing great, let me get a 2. So if you're doing good, if you're just doing good, let me get a 1. If you're doing great, let me get a 2. Just want to get the energy going, get everybody in that hailing mood. get things moving forward here. Okay, so we got some ones coming up. That's good. That's good. So before I start the presentation, we're going to start off with the hail. And I don't usually do this, but I'm going to show you something really quick. Okay, let me see here. So if you go to etymology of hail, it says it's from the 1200s, but more importantly, it says when you hail, it's dealing with your health, prosperity, and they say good luck. Okay, so that's 3 reasons why I do this, because there's something that gives you that power, it gives you that confidence, it gives you that courage, it gives you that great feeling if you're even if you're in a, they say low vibration or low frequency, but it's really high frequency. If you're just feeling only good and you want to feel great, give yourself some hails. If you're just feeling good right now, that's all you're feeling. I'm not trying to take that away from you, but I know if you had a chance to feel great, you would. So just give yourself some hails. And we're going to start off the hail right now. I do the hail also because there's 2 main hails. I'm going to show one next week. I didn't clip it out for the presentation because I just thought of it now. But this is Osiris hail. This is the Osiris hail, the Osiris Min hail. And Min dealt with something that was standing on solid ground. To the ancestors, to the followers of Ma'at, and to the brothers that are on the panel, we have standards today. We have concrete, firm standards that we stand on in a world that basically does not stand for anything anymore other than Isfet, chaos, terror, and so on and so forth. So we are followers of Ma'at. That is our standard. That's one of our standards. And as you can see, the great brother Osiris is erect. He's standing. And you see that his arm is up in the hail, the original hail. Okay, so the brothers and sisters back then were hailing each other, and that is proof. So let's get into some hailing. You can find this affirmation or utterance on our website at teachingsofmaat.org. And I'm going to read both parts. I'm going to read the Medu Netter in blue and the translation in red. It says, E Neb Ma'at per em Ma'ati. Hail Ma'at is everything. We come forth from her. Henu Saba Tahuti, Amenhotep Ra. Hail Saba Tahuti. Henu Kemet. Hail Kemet. Makaru, Makaru, Makaru. Victory, victory, victory. That is our victory voice. So those of you that are new and never hailed before, I believe we are the only group that's hailing each other right now. Hopefully this will spread like wildfire to the rest of the brothers and sisters in the world. And once we collectively start hailing each other, great magic will be created amongst us. I do believe that. So let me find what I'm looking for here. A few announcements before we begin. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. It helps the algorithm and it brings more people awareness to the teachings of Ma'at. And a few announcements. If you haven't gone over to our YouTube channel yet, when you go there, there's a community tab. So you'll see like videos, playlists, and in that line of words or group of words, you'll see community. And when you click on community, it'll bring up when we're posting during the week, because during the week we're posting like the Discord meeting, you can find it there. Or we'll post polls over there, you can find them there. So go over there, check them out. You can leave comments there. You guys can talk amongst yourselves there. It's just another avenue for us to communicate with one another. If you're already doing that, great. Salute. We're also going to be starting a Spotify. I don't have exact date yet, but eventually you're going to be able to listen to the teachings of Ma'at, and you're going to be able to listen to the classes on your phone through a podcast format. Most people know what Spotify is, but it's just a lot easier for you to get this message and get these teachings when you're on the go. And I know in my in my experience, I like listening to a podcast, when I'm out or if I'm working out, than actually just watching it on the screen. The great brother Scribe is creating audiobooks right now, so let's go support him. Let's go support him when he's finished. And we're going to be, one of the options we might do is Audible, but we'll have something where you can go and you can support him, you can support the teachings, you can support by going to pick up these books and getting them in audio format, because I know it could be daunting to pick up the literature of ancient Egypt and sit through some of these stories. So make sure to support. And then finally, I'm going to be creating a volunteer branch of the movement. And it's going to be very flexible. If you want to give an hour, if you want to give 2 hours, if you want to give 8 hours, that would be highly commended. And you would definitely be hailed. But it's up to you. You put in the work, you get the reward. And so I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to be creating something on LinkedIn where you can go over there and you can check it out, and we'll have what we need help in there. We're going to be putting stuff on the website too. We're going to be advertising in the newsletter. So we will be creating a volunteer branch for those of you that are skeptical about joining the membership. This way you can get a taste of what we're about. And then if you decide to join, you will. Okay. So tonight's presentation. Tonight's presentation is Net of Possibilities. Net of Possibilities. And one more thing. Let me click out of here. One more thing too. When I'm done the presentation, stick around, because we always invite people up to the panel and we'd like to hear from you. Even if you're just introducing yourself, you just want to say hi, you don't have to say much. We would like to, you're able to join. We would like to see you. And we're going to be also showing a video of past donators and consistent donators, because we believe that you're that important that we took time out of our lives to create a special video for you too. So stick around, because a lot of you are in there too. Okay. So the net of possibilities. The goddess Neith. The net of possibilities. So first we got to establish who is Net. Who is Net? And those of you that are coming into the room right now that missed the introduction, I am Ahati Maat. My teacher is the master teacher, Tahuti Amenhotep Ra. He has a pod class on Fridays at 6 p.m. Pacific time. If you haven't gone over to his YouTube channel, I suggest you do. Subscribe, hit that notification bell so you'll know when the class starts. Okay, so who is Net? Let's get into it. But before we get to who is Net, why is the hexagon symbol so important? I don't know how many of you have thought about this question. Why is the hexagon symbol so important? But we're definitely going to find out. But as always, some etymology first. What is a hexagon? Hey, Arcat, can you hear any music?
Yes, I can hear it.
Okay. For some reason, I don't know. There's something in my computer it doesn't let me hear the music. Okay. To a brother. So it says hexagon. It says it's from the Greek hex.
Hey, brother, your screen's not showing.
Okay. Let's see. Okay.
There we go.
Yes, there we go. Boom. Okay. So the hexagon, this is from the Greek word hex, and it means 6. And it's a 6-sided polygon or sixagon. The total of the internal angles of any simple non-self-intersecting hexagon is 720 degrees. 720 degrees. Okay, so the hexagon has 6 angles that add up to 720 degrees. That number is very important. If you have been a follower of the teachings Maat for a while, you should know what this number represents. But this is for the people that are brand new, and in the future, we're just gonna go into it. We're gonna break down what this means. So the number 70 comes from Sefku. Sefku. The Sef is dealing with the Herakuti, is dealing with yesterday and before yesterday. It's the beginning of time in the quantum realm, which is part of the topic of tonight. And it's also dealing with something that we call intelligence today, or consciousness. And that's the Ku. The Ku also resonates, I'm not going to go too deep into that today, but resonates with the Schumann resonance at 7.83 hertz, which aligns you, the listener, and us on the panel when we're resonating at the number 720 or 72. Added up, it's number 9. It lines us with Geb, or it lines us with the Earth, the frequency of the Earth. So the Sefku, if you look in the picture here, you see a resemblance to the ibis, what's now called the ibis over here, which was known as what? Tahuti's bird. And then you see you behind him, and you see the Ku, because to the ancestors, they didn't call it a flail. This now what's being called the hook and the flail. The flail was called the Ku because it was dealing with light, because you are the true light beam. Because when we come down to Ku over here, you can see that we have the fire pot glyph. It's called the fire pot, fire and the flame. That deals with your Ku. If you're big into science or into the body, they have something called thermogenesis. It's when the body heats up. So your body is constantly in motion and friction, and anything that causes friction and motion produces heat. And the ancestors knew this over 50,000 years ago. The Kui, your Ku is what protects you, because think about it. If you're resonating on a certain frequency, certain things are going to be produced in your life. So if I sat around all day, stewing, angry, pissed, complaining, just in self-pity mode, well, that's what the Ku is going to give you, because the one thing about nature is it shows no favoritism. It's just going to give and give and give and give and take and take and take. That's this whole operation. So it's up to us to understand where our ancestors were coming from, and that's to get in touch with our real frequency. And that was produced by the Ku, or your intelligence. And how do you get intelligence? By coming to these shows, to come into the pod class, to reading the meta netter, to getting into the literature, to actually go outside of here and practice it with family and friends and strangers and all types of people, and actually experience the heck in the magic be created right before your eyes. So that is the Ku. The Ku, when it's in alignment with Geb, or the Earth, you're resonating at what the scientists now call the Schumann resonance, or the Schumann frequency, which really produces what you really want in this life. Everybody has something they want, including myself. In a way, one of the ways to get it that's justified is aligning your Ku to the Earth's frequency. So these are all the numbers of the meta netter. I'm just going to focus on the number 2. The number 2, the Sen or the Senu. The Sen or the Senu created what is now called the 2. So this right here is what the Comedians called the Sen or the Senu. And it looks familiar. It looks like some people call it Roman numerals. Well, that's what they call it, not some people. The Romans took this and created Roman numerals for number 2. but it also looks like the 11. So you're going back to duality again, or what they call duality, which could be compared to life or death, or good or bad, and on and on. But there's always, as they say, two sides to every coin. And the number 2 was created in Kemet. They didn't call it the number 2, they called it the Senu. And the Senator Senu created what is now called the number 2. However, like all Medu Neter words, it has multiple meanings. One is brother, and in Tahuti's case, it is 2 brothers. Let's see why. So Kemet practiced duality, as I said before, as it's called today. Tahuti being the Neter god of words, a calm mind. So Tahuti, as I explained with the coup, Tahuti represented a calm mind state, because when we align our frequency to the Earth's frequency, as I said before, it literally puts you into a state where you are calm and you're able to think logically and rationally again. If you notice, even within yourself, I notice within myself too, when you get emotional, you can feel something's off. You can feel that calmness go away, and you can feel Isfet coming in, and you understand that something just isn't right. This is the set mindset, or the chaotic mindset. Okay? So Tahuti, the one brother, the Neter of words, is a calm mind, and Set being the Neter of a chaotic mind. And both of these are within the Ku. Here we have the Sen, the Medu Neter for Sen, and if you look down at the bottom, it says the 2 brothers, 2 brother gods. And it says Set and Thoth. Thoth is a Greek name for Tahuti, but the 2 brothers, Set and Tahuti. I had to establish the connection between the hexagon, its angles adding up to 720 degrees, and then its important link to the Medu Neter word Sef Ku. The number 72 and why it's united with Tahuti. Now we can get back to the eti of hexagon and its association with Net. So when you do the etymology on hex, it says from the 1830s, and it's the practice witchcraft. It's from the German hexen, and it means a magical spell. And it also means sorcerer, so we're going to get into that. It also means sorcerer. So hex means sorcerer. Now, is sorcery a bad thing to practice? And this is how this place operates here. This matrix does everything in its power to take everything from you and I by putting things in movies, putting things in music, and having us believe that what we're hearing is something outside of ourselves and outside of our control. So therefore it's something fake, or it's Harry Potter. And it can't happen in your life. Meanwhile, the people that are actually controlling the world and controlling most of the people that are in it are using this very hex. So we got to go deeper when we're looking at words like sorcery, because immediately what comes to mind is witchcraft. And witchcraft, you get a picture of the Wicked Witch of the West, that she has a green face and the long nose and the tall hats and the hat. And it says it right here, witchcraft. So witchcraft, magic, enchantment, act or instance of sorcery, supernatural state of affairs, seemingly magical works. Okay? And it's from sort. It's from sort. So what is sort? What does sort mean? The sort from the 14th century is a group of people, animals, kind of variety of person or animal from Old French sortie, class kind from Latin sortum, a lot, a fate. And I really want you to focus on destiny because we're going to get into that later on. Destiny, share, proportion, rank, category, sex. From pi root sur, to line up. This is all from the word hex. So we'll get back to sex and our destiny, how it relates to net later on, I promise. Let's go back to the hexagon and finally introduce the goddess. Okay, so Neith, one of her symbols here on the bottom left-hand corner, you can see it over here in the Medu Netter word for Shet. If you've been following the teachings of Maat for a while, some of the brothers have taught on the Shet already. And that's the symbol here. And one of the meanings for Shet was the vagina. It was a vagina. Okay? Because it's a doorway. The symbol that's on Neith's head is a doorway from the photomic realm or the quantum realm into this realm here. It's a gateway. And the ancestors knew that. But before we get into that, I want to take you to this article here about hexagons. I gotta click out of here. Excuse me. I'm going to take you to this article here. And this article is from Inverse. Hold on a sec, I gotta turn on the sound here. Okay. Okay, so this article here is from Inverse Magazine. And as always, if you need links or anything, just hit me up and I will send them to you. So hexagons are as close as science gets to magic. Hold on a second. Okay. Menkura, can you see the screen?
Yes, Ahati.
Okay, I zoomed in.
I
zoomed in. It should be clearer. Okay, sacred geometry may be popular online, but the natural world favors certain shapes for a reason. So we hear this sacred geometry all the time in the conscious community, in the spiritual circles, but nobody really can define what it really is. So we're going to get into that right now and why it's quote unquote sacred, why it's very important. This article is by Joe Carmichael, August 2nd, 2016. It says, believers in sacred geometry ascribe power and significance to natural occurring shapes. They see them as evidence of organization, likely by a higher power. See, they're saying a higher power because they don't know what we know on the panel, that this is really Neith doing all these things. And I know those of you that are new, you probably don't know what I'm talking about yet, but I promise by the end of this presentation, you will. So they said that they see them as evidence of organization. So the universe, nature, is constantly in organization. So if I can emphasize something right now, would be to focus, if you're new, on organization. This is one of the first things I was taught, was how to organize my mind. Once I began to organize my mind, I could then organize my my words, my speech, and then I could organize my actions. My actions followed my speech. Within this small group, there's a smaller group obsessed with hexagons. There are entire online communities dedicated to literal and figurative hexagon worship. So there's people out there that are worshiping hexagons. There's even something called Hexagonal Awareness Month. Phrases like transcendental hexagonal future get tossed around. For anyone who found geometry class less than spiritually enlightening, this is all a bit much. But the underlying belief is not as absurd as it may sound. Hexagons are startlingly omnipresent in nature, and their properties are somewhat awe-inspiring. Still, we can explain much of the hexagon's natural reoccurrence without resorting to religion. So we're not taking it to religion here. Let's start by taking a little tour of hexagons in nature. This jaunt may ignite that part of your brain that makes you wonder whether there might indeed be something over and above yourself. We'll start big and work our way down. So, on Saturn's North Pole, there's an enduring cloud formation. Here's a close-up. So this is the cloud formation. You see my mouse on the screen, the green mouse. You see me circling this massive, giant cloud over Saturn. So this is a hexagonal cloud that's over Saturn's North Pole. But this is no ordinary cloud formation. It's a very distinct hexagon. Each of the hexagon's 6 sides is bigger than the Earth's own diameter. So each side of the hexagon right here, the Earth could fit. It's larger than the Earth, each side here. And you know, it really shows like how small we are, how small I am compared to what's really going on outside this planet. You know, it's really if you sit back and you really think about it, it's really amazing like how minuscule our problems really are compared to what the bigger picture is that's happening actually all around us. So scientists have put forth a handful of hypotheses about its cause. For instance, if you spin a bucket of water fast enough, the whirlpool turns into a hexagon, but it remains largely a mystery. So spin a bucket of water fast enough, the whirlpool turns into a hexagon. Here's another image of that cloud on Saturn, on the North Pole. Back on Earth, well, in California anyway, there's something known as the Devil's Post Pile. So in California, there's something known as the Devil's Post Pile. Fewer than 100,000 years ago, a lava flow spawned these odd structures. They are basalt columns, which themselves are not uncommon. What is relatively uncommon is that each column in the Devil's Post Pile is hexagonal. There's a similar formation on the coast of Northern Ireland called the Giant's Causeway. As the lava cooled, it began to shrink. But the shrinkage led to tension, which led to nascent cracks. These cracks were then burdened with the tension themselves, so they branched off. As it turns out, a 120-degree crack releases the most tension. And 120 degrees just happens to be a hexagon's interior angles. So if you remember on the slide, let me see if I can pull it up here. If you remember on the slide here, let me see if I can find it. Oh, going the wrong way. On the Wikipedia page, if you see over here on the Wikipedia page, the hexagon, each angle is 120 degrees. Each connecting angle of the hexagon is 120 degrees. So 120 degrees just happened to be a hexagon's arterial angle. Had the lava all cooled at exactly the same rate, we would be left with perfect hexagonal columns, but since it did not, we got somewhat hexagonal polygons. So here's the Devil's Pile. Oh, actually it says the Giant's Causeway. Here's the Giant's Causeway and the lava hexagonal piles that the Earth made. But the most obvious natural hexagon is the honeycomb, the geometrically perfect home for bees and their honey. Bees worldwide are extraordinarily adept at constructing uniform hexagons, but beyond that, they themselves are encoded with shape. The hexagon is written into their eyes. Their hives are wondrous constructions, and their hexagonal nature is part brilliance and part accident. Hexagons appear in honeycombs because they are the most efficient way to fill a space with the least amount of material. Let me read that again. Hexagons appear in honeycombs because they are the most efficient way to fill a space with the least amount of material. So they didn't choose squares, triangles, circles. They chose the hexagon just for the fact that's the most efficient way to fill the honey up into the comb. Amazing. Some shapes tessellate, meaning they can be repeated across a surface without leaving gaps or overlapping. Triangles, squares, tessellate, circles, and pentagons do not. Hexagons, which are themselves composed of tessellated triangles, do. Tessellation ensures that there's neither wasted space nor wasted energy. So programmed into the bees is they don't want to waste any space, and they especially don't want to waste any energy. Very intelligent. For millennia, scientists assumed that it was the most efficient way to fill a plane, but it took until 1999 for someone to prove it. Thomas C. Hales, with the honeycomb conjecture. Bees figured it out long ago, and it's a good thing too. Beeswax, because it's hard for bees to produce. Because it is hard for bees to produce, is precious. Wait a second. Bees figured it out long ago, and it's a good thing too. Beeswax, because it is hard for bees to produce it, and it's precious. There's something wrong there with the grammar. Efficiency is paramount. Okay, so we're gonna watch a short video on bees and honeycomb.
Honeybees are fascinating creatures for a number of reasons. Their incredible work ethic, the sugary sweet syrup they produce, and their intricate social structure. But another reason is that honeybees are, in fact, excellent mathematicians. Scientists claim that tiny insects can calculate angles and can even comprehend the roundness of the earth. But there's particular mathematical bee genius behind the most important aspect of honeybee life, the hive. Just like humans, bees need food and shelter to stay alive. The hive is not only the bees' home, but doubles as a place to store their honey. Since it's so central to survival, honeybees have to perfect the hive's architectural design. If you examine any piece of honeycomb, you'll see that it's constructed from tightly packed hexagonal or six-sided cells. Of all the possible designs, why do honeybees choose this one? To understand, you need to think like a bee. Bees need a secure place for their entire colony to live. Similarly, there needs to be a place where their nectar can be stored and ripened suitably until it turns into honey. That means there's a need for some serious space efficiency. A good solution is to build little storage units or cells just big enough for a bee to fit into, which can also double as the containers in which nectar is stored, the bee's very own honey jars. The next thing is to decide what the little cells should be made out of. Bees don't have beaks or arms to pick up things, but they are capable of producing wax. The thing is, producing it is a lot of hard work. Bees have to consume 8 ounces of honey to produce just 1 ounce of wax, so they don't want to waste it. So, they need a design that allows them to store the largest possible amount of honey using the least amount of wax. What shape does that? Imagining for a minute that all bees had to attend Architecture Academy and go to math class. Let's say they asked their geometry teacher, what shape would give us the most space to store our honey but require the least amount of wax? And the geometry teacher replied, the shape that you're seeking is the circle, leaving the bees to return to their trial construction site and begin building their honeycomb using circular cells. After a while, some of them might have noticed a problem with their design. Small gaps between the cells. We can't even fit in there, that's wasted space, they might have thought. So, ignoring the geometry lesson and taking matters into their own hands, the bees went back to the drawing board to rethink their beehive design. One suggested triangles. We can use triangles, look, they fit together perfectly. Another bee suggested squares. Finally, a third bee piped up and said, pentagons don't seem to work, but hexagons do. We want the one that will use the least amount of wax and be able to store the most amount of honey. Yes, I think that's the hexagon. Why? It looks more like the circle than the others. But how do we know for sure? To find out, the industrious insect architects calculated the areas of the triangle, the square, and the hexagon and found that the hexagon was, in fact, the shape that gave them the most storage space. They agreed on an ideal size and returned to work. The space-efficient comb that is a bee's trademark today is probably the result of this trial and error, but over long periods of evolutionary history. However, it paid off. Peek into any hive, with your protective goggles and netting on, of course, and you'll see the end result, a beautiful, compact honeycomb that any architect would have been proud to design.
Brother Ahati, your microphone is muted.
Mic muted, yes.
All right, to it, brothers.
There you go.
So the rest of the article goes on to say, but you can also imagine trying to pack a bunch of malleable circles into a flat square plane. After a while, you're going to run out of space. But there will be one perfect moment at which the circles both do not overlap and fill all space. When this happens, the circles will all have become hexagons. Beeswax is likewise malleable and is essentially how honeycomb takes its form. Okay, let's go back to the presentation. And turn on my pointer. Okay. Okay, so that was the hexagons and how honeycombs are created and why the bees are intelligent, which deals with coup, and why they are efficient in building them and using this quote-unquote sacred geometric pattern. Let's get into Neith. This is from my book, page 92. Freedom Through God's Word. This is on page 92. And we're dealing with Neith, who is the mother and creator. Up top here, you see it's from the Elegant Universe. The quantum frenzy can cause a string or anti-string pair. And you can see that this is something that was directly taken from the Alan Gardner glyph, R24. They just basically just drew it a little different, but it's literally the same glyph. for Neith. Now this glyph I know looks like, if you ever did fishing, it looks like a fishing hook, a particular fishing hook, but it's not. This is the Shet symbol, or the vagina symbol, the portal opening, the gateway, the doorway from Lightland, or the photonic realm, into Earth realm, or the physical material world. As you can see up here, Net is a creation goddess who established the world. A self-producing, perpetually virgin goddess who gave birth to the sun god. So she's the mother of Ra. Originally, she was a goddess of the chase, because the Talmud says she's a hunter, which she does represent the warrior sisters and the warrior brothers, because remember, Kemet was about duality. So she was great with the arrows, great with the protection. We're going to get into that a little bit at the end. The center of her cult was at Sais. What is Sais? If we just Google the cult of Neith right now, this will pop up. It was at Sais, where she had the 4 forms. So like other netters, she had multiple different forms. And again, you can see this symbol. It's this symbol right here. It's this symbol right here. How does a goddess or sorcerer in protection connect? Well, the word net, which produced Neith, the word net comes from ne. It means protection. And you see here, you see the hexagon symbol right here. You see the 6-sided hexagon, and it means defense, protection. The net, defense, protection. Now that word sais, which is a Greek word, comes from the Medu-Neter word sahu. A lot of you that are taking the Medu-Neter class know what this word means. For those of you that don't, the Sahu is dealing with Osiris, but it's also dealing with what they now call a coffin or sarcophagus. But it really deals with protection too. It's dealing with protections too, because it's also what's now being called a mummy was wrapped with. And it's called the city god of Sais, the god of lower Sais, the god of upper Sais. Now, why can't they just say Sahu? Because, again, if they give you the actual terms that the people spoke themselves, you could eventually connect the dots a lot easier than us having to go through this and present it to you. And you could begin to really start empowering yourself and doing great things to change this present reality we're all coexisting in. And they don't want that. They meaning the powers that be that control YouTube. So remember the Eddy of Hex was sorcerer. Well, brother's thinking right here. He's like, I remember. The Sahu is a sorcerer, an enchanter, a reciter of spells. So somebody that's into protecting themselves and defending others and defending their people and defending their children and defending their mates and just in the defense is now labeled a sorcerer, an enchanter, a reciter of spells. And if I just stopped at the etymology of sorcerer, a lot of people would think it's evil, it's wrong, because the word witchcraft is next to it. We're going to get into that too. But yes, Net was connected to the hexagon, which was also connected to where she was worshipped, the land where she was worshipped. The land where she was worshipped was called the Sahu, which also dealt with protection. And in order to protect ourselves personally, we need to get into what the Talmud now calls the affirmation and utterances, which deal with the Purim Haru, which is the Book of the Dead, which deals with Miriam Lyncham and William Kelly Simpson's literature of the ancient Egypt. in the coffin text, in the pyramid text. This is how we protect ourselves. This is how you protect yourself as well. You literally have to be what they're calling a sorcerer. You have to become a witch. Now, I'm not saying that you're a witch because we know the root of these words are baseless. They're not based in the original meanings, such as the Meta word sahu. So you should be proud to call yourself a Sa or a Sahu, a sorcerer, a chanter, reciter of spells. And another thing before I go on, a spell is just dealing with words. So when you do the etymology of spell, it's just dealing with words. So whether you're reciting words that affirm what you want, an affirmation, or things that affirm what's going to benefit you, an affirmation, or you're just talking negatively to others and yourself, you're still a reciter of spells. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What I prefer in my own experience is to recite the former, which is affirmations that benefit me. So going back to the net, we see that this word, her cult says, is directly linked to the Sahu. The Sahu. So here comes the family and friends when we're learning from the Tahuti Pod class and from the Sunday study guide shows. And we're feeling excited and we want to go and share it with family and friends or strangers, whoever. And then we get that one person that says, well, aren't spells evil? Aren't they witchcraft junk? Because that's not what the Bible teaches me. And the thing about the Bible is a spell. The Bible is a spell. Again, whatever words are in our minds, and especially when we put vibration to them through our tone, right? We speak about tones a lot here. Almost every show, we're always speaking about tones and frequencies and vibrations because they're that important. So, to simply put it, whatever's in your mind at this moment, your ku, the Seth ku, you can resonate at the frequency of Tahuti, which is 72, the Seth ku, or you can resonate at the frequency of Set. It's always a choice. It's always a choice. Now, I understand that a lot of people that might be new, this is new information, you never heard of it before, and you don't even know how to do that. Well, that's what we're for. That's what we're here for. You can always ask. But the point that I'm trying to make is we know instinctively. We know when something makes us feel comfortable and something doesn't make us feel something makes us feel uncomfortable. And if something doesn't make me feel comfortable, I gotta go. I gotta leave. It's as simple as that. But at the same time, my thoughts can cause things to become uncomfortable unnecessarily. Meaning I could put myself in situations unnecessarily out of fear of being disliked, out of fear of not belonging to the tribe, out of fear of letting my mother down, or whatever the excuse may be. I have to remember, as this gentleman here, once I learn that this stuff isn't evil, that it's not junk, I become the most important being on this planet. Now, this might, the people that are new, this might sound selfish, this might sound obnoxious, this might sound arrogant, but I'm telling you, this is how the ancestors thought. If we do not look at ourselves as the most important being here, we are no use to anybody else. And that starts with our own vibration, that starts with our ku, that starts with our intelligence, which we need to gather from those that have walked this path prior to us. So when this brother's sitting here and he's thinking to himself, it's interesting. I've literally met lots of people like this, especially when I'm handing out the business cards. They'll look at me. I just met another brother on the train. Gave me a quizzical look, and he asked me to keep my voice down because he was fear. I just told him that's fear, man. We got to stop being fearful. I'm not saying anything wrong. There was no cops there's nobody around. It's just me and him and the heroin addicts and the junkies and the homeless. But that's what I'm saying. That's a fearful mindset. and that mindset's not an asset to Ma'at. It does not exist in Ma'at. Listen, I didn't even want to, and I'm going to continue with this, but I feel compelled to share. I'll be honest. I didn't even feel like giving a presentation today. I'll be honest with you. I have no problem about it. You know, before this presentation started, I was laying on my couch. I was coming in and out. I was napping. I was really calm and peaceful. And man, I did not want to move. I did not really want to do this. But there's some things that we just have to do them. We have to do them because if we don't do them, I know for myself, I'll feel this pain. I'll feel this pain in the right side of my, around where the kidneys are. I feel this gnawing pain. Like, hey man, you know, if this continues, this could become habitual. And then you could revert right back into ISFED in the matrix. Yeah, this is after 8 years of this, having this knowledge. So in my experience, this never goes away, this battle. And we're gonna get into a famous story at the end of this presentation. This battle happens, yes, in the physical realm, but it also happens a lot in the mind, especially times when we're alone. And so I did not want to give this presentation, but I showed up. I showed up because there's just some things we have to do. You're important to me. You having this knowledge is important to me. So that is a great motivator too. So we'll go back to the screen here. And let me turn the slideshow here. So they're not spells, it's not evil. I know in my personal life, I highly suggest getting into the Per Haru, getting into that Meadow Netter class. Listen, if I didn't learn the Meadow Netter when I first started out, I wouldn't be here right now. I know that for a fact. If I wasn't going over to Saba's house, Saba is Tahuti Amenhotep Ra. If I wasn't going over to his house every week and studying from him, I wouldn't be here right now. I really wouldn't. I would still believe spells are dealing with magic, evil, so on and so forth. So what is possible? What is possible? What is destiny according to the Nile Valley people? But first, what is destiny according to its etymology? I love this etymology tool, as a lot of you already noticed. I'm always in it. So in order for one, let me read the etymology first. So it's from the 1590s. It says your purpose, design, to make firm or fast. It's from the Proto-Indo-European. The Proto-Indo-European is the made-up language of the European to eradicate and dismiss the Medu Neter language. So whenever you see Pi, Proto-Indo-European, it's the Greeks not giving any credit to the people of Kemet or ancient Egyptian. It's a made-up language. So the Pi root is sta. It means to stand or make firm, and this is the same root for evidence and to see, and the very ideals and attributes that make up Ma'at. So it's your destination also is a part of Ma'at. Also part of Ma'at. Because if you're not standing for anything, and everybody does stand for something, let me correct that. Everybody does. So even the heroin addict stands for something. They stand for their drugs. And they'll do anything to go get it, to get that fix. And they do. So everybody has standards. The guy eating out of the trash can right now, his standard, his way of life is going in that trash can every day and eating out of it. It's just, so everybody has standards. In order for one to have a destiny, though, they first want to know where they are going towards. Advancing to become. And without this, we are similar to the NPCs in a video game. The NPCs are those that play video games. I don't play video games, but I used to. I haven't played them in a long time. NPCs are those non-player control beings that just walk in the walls and they bump into you. They don't really do anything. They're just there in the background. They're lost. So in order for one to have a destiny, they first want to know where they are going towards, advancing to become. Without this, we are similar to the NPCs in a video game. And isn't this what we all see when we go out into the public, back into the matrix, and we look at people and we observe them and we see how they're talking, how they're acting, how they're walking? Okay. And the ancestors knew this very well. Here's a meta word for destiny. You're going to get a little bit of everything with me. I know I jump around a lot, and it could get confusing at times. But this is just how I teach. I feel that you need to get a little of everything just to see the bigger picture sometimes. I want to say peace and shout out to everybody that came in. And I want to say peace and shout out to everybody that's been hanging with us this whole time. We appreciate you. So on the screen here, if you have my books over there, I'm not going to go and get it. But I suggest you get the book, The Egyptian Book of the Dead, the book of Going Forth by Day by R.O. Faulkner or Raymond Faulkner. It's a great book. Saba's always referencing this book too. And it actually shows the pictures of the meta of the Book of the Dead. And in this picture here, this person here is known as the Netter Shai, or sometimes it's pronounced Shay, Shai or Shay. And it's the Netter Shay, and it's from Plate 3, from the famous the erroneous saying scales of Maat. They want to call that, but this is Shay. Shay is the god of luck, or fate, or destiny, who reckons. Okay. So let's look up the etymology of reckon. Actually, I have it right here. The Eddy of reckon means to lead, to rule. So it's a person that's on a destiny that's leading and ruling. So what eventually happens when you get really serious about this way of life in Ma'at, the natural ability to lead and rule just overwhelms you. It's like the coup becomes overtaken by this knowledge, and you become a new being. That's why when Saba names people, at least in my case, he had to study and observe me for a while. And I'm actually the longest one that I know of. He could correct me if I'm wrong. That he observed. It took me 2 years to get my name. I know a lot of people are getting their name within a year. It took me 2 years. And I understand why. I definitely do. And I appreciate that he's willing to hold out on that patience to give me my name. Because eventually my name became something that means to lead and to rule also. So in this scene here, you see Shai, and you see Ani's heart here being weighed. You see the feather shoe over here. And you see Ampu controlling the scales. And they're both looking at each other. And it's based on your thoughts. It's based on your frequency and vibration and the actions you took from that very frequency that controls the destiny that you're on right now. And those of you that are in the room right now, in the chat, are on a great destiny. So how is this done? How is this done? How do you lead and rule? With the coup, with intelligence. Intelligence from inter, which means to read and choose, a way of life that guides you. It means to read and choose a way of life to guide you. The people that are studying, that are in the books, the quote-unquote nerds, the quote-unquote, those are the leaders in the world. Those are the leaders in the world. It's not the football players. It's not the entertainers. It's not Beyonce. It's not Jay-Z. It's not Tekashi. It's not Prodigy, rest in peace. It's none of these. It's none of these people. It's the people we don't even see, and the ones we see. But the ones that actually rule, we will never see them. And they, believe me, they have their. I have some of their books. Their books. They're in the books, and the books are guiding their decisions right as we speak. One of them is the Fourth Industrial Revolution. I highly recommend it. The other part that makes up the word intelligence is leg. It means collect and gather. This is what our legs actually help us do. Mind in action creates possibilities of life-changing events. So once again, if I'm just all in my mind and I'm not taking action, there's no show, there's no podcast, there's nothing's happening. If you have a job, if you got to go to work, can you just sit at home and telepathically beam yourself, your body's double into your job while your physical body sits on your couch or whatever you're doing? No, you got to get up, use your legs, and go. You just got to. So it's always mind in action. And I see, especially in our community, where a lot of people just take the mind part. A lot of people aren't going to like what I have to say, but so be it. You just stay in the mind part. You don't take the action part. You forget about, well, I got to take action. You may have your reasons, that's fine, but I don't find anywhere in the Kemetic literature and the stories of the day-to-day lives of our ancestors, if you're interested in following the ancestors' way of life, that they just use the mind part. They were also taking vigorous action. They were doing monumental things. They were using their legs often, without modern technology too, which is amazing. Just, oh man, great. So it's, again, back to duality. Intelligence involves mind in action. It's not just mind, it's not just action. Together, combined intelligence and great things can be built. The coup, when you go to Budge's dictionary, volume 1, the coup also represents to rule. Again, it represents the flail, what's called the flail. It's not actually a flail, but I'm just calling that's what people know it by. But it was called the coup, and that's why the pharaoh or the Nasu held it in his hand, because it was a symbol of rulership. It was a symbol of this person, this netter is able to direct and command the rest of us through his own destiny. And that's the beautiful thing about our ancestry, is they weren't insecure. They didn't have this hang up of somebody that they didn't like personally ruling over them. And that's another thing. In order for anything to be accomplished, even on our own job, there are people we just don't like. We, matter of fact, hate. There's people you want to punch in the face. But you still go to work. You still got to work with them. So it's less important. And this is more for the men. It's less important to be in the feelings and more to be in, okay, is this person actually an asset? Is this person actually putting in work for the movement? If he is, I don't care if this person hates my guts. Keep him, because he's an asset to the movement. Greater picture is the movement. And the ancestors knew this. And we're going to get to that too at the end. The ancestors weren't all happy, get along. We're going to get to that. Okay. The Ankh, one of the many, many, many meanings for the Ankh was the joy of heart, a formula of good wishes which follows each mention of the king's name in official documents, which is the Ba, which goes back to the Ku, which is the heart and soul. So the life, the heart of the Nasu, and in his official documents, and in his official ordinances, policies, and direction, always went back to his Ku, or went back to his intelligence. Nobody in their right mind is going to put somebody in power that's not intelligent. That doesn't make sense. So now you may be wondering, how does this connect back to Neith? So the Shaiti is the goddess of fate. Is fate and destiny the same? And I gotta give you some Mescanet again. I already did a little bit on her before, but we gotta go back to her, because this is important. So Mescanet, which was the birthing brick that you saw above Shai, Mescanet was the goddess of fate or destiny. What's the etymology of fate or destiny from the 14th century? Is one's guiding spirit. So your destiny, one meaning, or your fate, one meaning, is your guiding spirit. Right back to the coup, because coup also means spirit. So right back to the coup. That which is ordained, destiny, fate, literally the thing spoken by the gods. Literally the thing spoken. So your words create your destiny, your thoughts, your fate. The Proto-Indo-European root is what? The Ba. Back to Tahuti. Back to his frequency. So the root of fate in someone's destiny is their Ba, which is related to someone's intelligence or coup, because both of these are dealing with light energy. And light energy is what's created everything around you that you see physically, which is doing it through what we now call information. So someone's fate and destiny is directly connected to the Ba. Tom Hughes took this directly from the ancestors' writings. The Shah or the Shai means to fix, to appoint, to decide, to determine, to destine, to predestinate, to allot, to design, to decree, to ordain, to commission, to authorize. So within their structure of government, within their structure of organization, the fates of the leadership were intertwined and connected. Unlike today, you don't see this today. I know you definitely don't see this in the United States. Everybody's for themselves. It's ran like a mafia organization. Yeah, there's structure, but once that innate desire is suspended or taken away from that individual, he's ready to whack somebody. He's ready to kill. So shot is something ordained by God. So it's literally the thing spoken by the gods. So the shot is something ordained by God, because Shah is the root to Shai. It's something that is ordained by God. So now there is a connection between destiny, fate, and Neith. Oh, excuse me. Now, is there a connection between destiny, fate, and Neith? Let's find out. So the root of Mescanet comes from the mess. A lot of you have heard this word because the mess is dealing with birth and descendants, but it also means to weave, to weave, to weave. And so does Net or Neith. Neith was also known as the weaver. She also means to weave. Some of her symbols are here: the pot symbol, the string theory symbol, the string symbol, the connective symbol right here, the X, the waves. See that? So the connection to our fate and our destiny directly is connected to what is now being labeled the quantum realm, or what our ancestors called light land. That's why I always emphasize with people, and I usually state here, and I'm going to do it again, it's how important our dreams are in the Upesh realm, of connecting with our connecting with the netters there. I actually have 4 netteret I connect with nightly there, and they watch over and they protect me. And one of them is Neith. So our destiny and our faith is connected to the light realm. And through this light realm, we can connect our standards to it. And through our standards, when we teach and speak to each other, we can build a solid foundation on Ma'at. But wait, it goes deeper. Common Medu-Netter words we use to call ourselves come from Neith too, such as Netter. We all say this word. Netter. Well, net and ra, right? The is the R for ra. Netter. Here it is. Netter. The word in general use in text of all. Periods for God and quote unquote God. So netter comes from net. Net and ra combined. That's what makes you a netter. The vibration, the frequency, the quantum realm, light land, and its connection to light and sound. Netteret is the goddess. Netteret is a goddess. With Net's connection to fertility and the creation of everything in existence is the goddess connection. In the Netter Matut, the Matut Netter, or the Medu Netter, or the Machat Netter, or the Metra Netcher, is the words of the God right back to who? To Hootie, the number 72, the frequency, the vibration that keeps us in a calm state. And I didn't show it here, but by the way, when your heart beats at 72 beats per minute, that is known as a resting state for the heart, or a calm state. So it's the words of the god Thoth, or Tahuti is a proper name. Any book or inscription written in the hieroglyph. So it's any book and any inscription written in the hieroglyph is the Netter Matut. Matut is from Met or Mut, because if they didn't have vowels, so vowels are interchangeable. Excuse me. I'm going to take a drink of water. Let me see if the chat's still awake here. Let's see if everybody is still following. Let me get a 1 if everybody is digging the presentation, or it's or 2 if it's moving too slow. And Ahati, speed it up, man. I'm hungry. I want to get out of here. I'm about to go to the club. About to go get my hair did. I'm about to go to the wontongs and get my nails finished. Let me get a 1. Oh, we got big vapes. That's what's up. Maria's in the house. Peace. Maria, I hope you're liking that book. Appreciate your donation. I was telling Scribe, you actually ended up surprising me with that one. That was a great donation. Okay, great. Let's get back to it, Menkara. Let's get back into it.
They are attentively.
Menkara's looking like me, serious. Looks like he's checking on the Tamahoos, make sure they ain't watching us.
I was typing in the chat. I was like, very precise, Ahati. Keep going. So I'm trying to multitask. Keep killing them. Keep killing them. I keep loving them. Keep loving them.
Absolutely, brother. Okay, so So the reason why I show you this, because a lot of you already know what the Machet Netter and the Medu Netter means. But if you notice, a lot of times, and not only me, but brothers on the panel and Saba, we always repeat stuff over and over and over and over again, because it's dealing with the ritual aspect of not only our ancestry, but how the brain actually works. The brain works in repetitive patterns. That's literally how you learn, through watching repetitive images. And then eventually your brain learns how to obtain what it wants from those images quicker and faster. That's why we make mistakes, and that's why we learn best through experience. So that's why I show you stuff that seems simple to a lot of you, but it's good to keep the flow going, because it reinforces what you already know. So the Matut is from Met or Mut, because the vowels again are interchangeable. And just on a side note, even the pronunciation of the Medu Netter words, nobody really knows the correct pronunciation. So if you come across somebody that says you're pronouncing it wrong on the street or wherever you're at, just tell them what I said, because they can't prove it. And it means mother. So over here, I remember Scribe taught on this. It's the Kem. It's the Kem bird. The Kem bird is a Tahuti bird, as you can see. It goes back to the ibis. You see it there. It means to find or dig. You're digging for the truth. The Kem bird is digging for something to sustain it. And in this aspect, we dig in the Medu Netter. We dig in our dictionaries. We dig in our books to sustain our minds. The Kamau is the creator god. Is the creator god of the universe. Excuse me. Is the creator god of creation. Now I wanna say something here. The Kemet, because I have people ask me this. Who's the one creator? Especially when you talk to Christians on the street, and they say, well, is Ra the creator, or who's your creator in the Egyptian histories or religion? And you explain to them there's many different creators because they have multiple netter and Netiru. So when they say creator, the Talmud is just using this for a certain reference. It doesn't mean that the Kamau was a literal creator of creation. There's multiple creators of creation. And by the way, Net was one of them, or Neith. The Kema means the created word. See that? So the created word, the created word goes back to what? The Netter Matut to the Manut Netter. So the created word goes back to what's being called the hieroglyphs now. And they're getting that because of the Tahuti bird or the ibis bird, because it digs or it looks to find food for sustenance, and many different Medu Netter words mean bread. And a lot of them is saying it in reference, not only literal, but also in a metaphorical reference. And this is where the Christians get their daily bread pamphlets that I remember they used to pass out to us, or we would be in church pews, and there would be the daily bread. Everything is taken from us. Everything. Once you get that, you've got it. Once you realize that you've been stolen from, your mind has been stolen from you, we're giving it back to you, you'll join us. I don't see any other way. If you don't join us, you must have your mind continuously stolen from you. But that might have pissed off some people. But the Kemati means what? Mother, parent. Because the frequency of the mother is what determines the baby's, I'm going to say early life. I'm not going to say entire life. Because my mother went through beatings and getting thrown downstairs while I was inside of her. And that's just a physical part to her. She saw a lot of trauma happen to my father, getting beaten with pool sticks and all types of craziness. So I would say in childhood, and doctors even tell you to play certain music to keep the baby calm in the womb and before you go into your ultrasound. But that's not a cop-out or a cope. When you gain knowledge on how to change, now it's on you, in my experience. So when I gained this knowledge from Saba, I had a choice to even change my life with it or just keep coping out, because since my mother was abused while I was inside of her, I just got to accept it. I just got to accept it. And that's just the way it is. And it sounds funny, or maybe it doesn't, but that's a lot of our people think that way. A lot of our people play victim. But it's very hard to stay a victim when you're learning the Medu Netter, because you get so empowered and so confident. It's a confident language, I'll say that. And then the last part is part 3. What can we do now? What can we do now? So here's a brief breakdown about the Defenders of Ma'at role within the teachings of Ma'at organization. At the center is the teachings of Tahuti Amenhotep Ra, the inspiration of our movement, extending in 4 cardinal directions to form an outer protective alliance against foreign threats, is the Net Chiti M Ma'at. Let's get to it. So net forms the word nech, Net forms the word netch, and it means to protect by word. There's the word again, because you become protective of this meta netter. You're very slow to share it with those that you know will not appreciate it. So I have a sister, and I shared, matter of fact, I shared with her the website, but I won't share this with her because she's not ready. So you protect by word and deed, and your deed is your actions. You just show them, okay, he's changed, and either they'll like the change or they'll stay far away from it. And you gotta be ready for that too. That's another thing. I know in my case, not in everybody's case, but in my case, if you are attached to this and standing firm with this, there's a great chance you can lose everything. You can lose your mother, you can lose your mate, you can lose your family, you can even lose your home. To protect by word or deed. But what you get back in return, within and eventually without, you could never imagine. It's so much greater. It's so much greater. And that's all I'll say, because everybody's experience is different. You really have to experience it for yourself. And there was a time where I feared going against the grain, or going against family, or going against something that would put me in a serious situation. But when I started learning from Saba, I knew it had to be done within. Even though I didn't understand it, a lot of it I didn't understand, I knew it had to be done, just like today. And I did it. I trusted it. I trusted that net. To act as a defender or advocate for someone. So if somebody asks about Menkura, how's Menkura's creative skills? I can advocate for him because I've seen some of his work. I've seen some of his actions. Somebody's coming at my brother, Scribe, and we're physically in public together, I can stand next to him with my fists clenched, ready to throw down if we have to. To protect by word or deed, to act as a defender or advocate for someone. These brothers here, including myself, we are not caught up in our feelings. We are not sensitive brothers. The netch, to discuss, to debate, to take counsel about a matter, to argue, to disagree, to contradict, to question a statement. Yeah, you don't see us in our meetings, but we don't always agree. We do not always agree, and why would you? You don't want somebody around you that agrees with everything you say. You can't trust that person. You can't trust a yes man or woman. You can't trust that. I don't want anybody that's agreeing with me 100%. I know I make mistakes. I know my perspective is skewed sometimes. And so did the Natiru. And we're going to read a story where you see that. The Natiru weren't sitting around smoking weed and lighting incense and saying how happy they were. No, they were arguing, but we'll get to that. Most of us are here because something within makes us question our reality. You wouldn't be here if you didn't have questions. Since children, we knew something just isn't right with the world we live in today. As a child, I knew. I had many questions. And my mother couldn't answer them, and she said, go ask the pastor, go ask the priest, go ask the reverend, go ask the quote-unquote experts. We're all experts, but that's a whole nother class. You could just look up the etymology of expert right now if you want, and you'll see, and I'll break that spell. Since children, we knew something just isn't right with the world we live in today. Those of you who are ready to do something about it have joined the Ahati Maat at T.O.M. The Nethi is the protectress, is the warrior goddess. Nethi are people who follow Ma'at, protect her teachings, and take action to preserve them too for the next generation. As you can see, Neith is represented here with the glyph of a vessel of a pot. So the next T is the beings who protect. I told Saba a long time ago that once the time was right and the men were prepared, we would protect him. I'm not going to read this for time period purposes. This is from my book. If you haven't gotten this book yet, I suggest you do. Freedom Through God's Word. You can find it at teachingsofmaat.org. And you go to Ahati Maat on teachingsofmaat.org. And you can purchase it there. But this is from page 94, the middle of page 94. Those of you that have the book, I know many do. Page 94, the middle of page 94 to 95. The Machut, which is also the Matut, which also forms the word Matut Netter. And we see the symbol for the goddess is a vessel. Neith was a vessel. Neith was a mistress, a teacher. But our women originally were vessels. If I go to a woman today on the street, the average woman, and say, "You're a vessel for me," she's going to go, "What?" She'll go, "What do you mean?" Our women were vessels. Our women took these teachings, carried our youth, and protected them. Protected them physically and mentally. Because they were also warriors. The sisters weren't just sitting around. One famous sister, as you know, is Sekhmet, which is closely linked to Neith as well, because we were dealing with memory. And you were also dealing with the quantum realm. But our sisters were intelligent warriors as well. And the way to get back there is to follow us here and follow Saba at the pod class. And there's sisters here that are transitioning into that right at this moment because they have opened their hearts back to the Ib. They've opened their hearts. They've opened their bodies, their heart and soul connection. And they are willing to listen. That is the first step. Now, I'm not saying you gotta listen to me. I'm not saying you gotta listen to Scribe. I'm not saying you gotta listen to Arcad. I'm not saying you gotta listen to Men Korah. I'm not saying you gotta listen to anybody that you don't want to listen to. That's not what I'm saying. But eventually, if we want to see real change and want to become what we want to become, at some point, we have to stop talking and we have to start listening. So our women listened, they became vessels for our youth. This is just one meaning. Of course, there's multiple. But this is this meaning for this presentation. One last thing to question. Was Neith a physical being? Was Neith a physical being too, according to the Neteru's own spoken word? So as you notice, from Saba all the way down to the newest member that shares a presentation, nobody deviates from our system or program. We only take what our ancestors say, bring it back into our hearts, formulate it through our study, and then present it back out to you. That's all we do. None of this is based on my conjecture or opinion. But I ask you, was Neith a physical being too? According to Neteru's own spoken word. But first, because you're gonna see this in the story that I'm gonna end with. Onuris. Onuris. The Greeks, man, just making up stuff. Onuris. Sounds like a Spanish name. Honoris. Honoris. Ven acá, Honoris. Honoris was Anhor. If you don't know who Anhor or Anhor is, it's one of my warrior netter I also speak with. Whose mate is Mehet, who's the name of my actual tarantula, Mehet, which also goes back to the weaver, which goes back to spiders and tarantulas, and you see the connection. But the original name for Honoris is in her. And my name, one of my multiple meanings to my name, Ahati, meant slayer or killer. They say the title of a priest, but when you look up the Eddie of the word priest, it has an unknown origin. When you see things that have an unknown origin, just discount them. Look at them, grab the meaning of them, just so you have them for reference. It's always good to have reference. But unknown origin means the Greeks went in there and changed up the meaning. And now they don't want to tell you the truth, even more. So Ahati meant slayer, killer. The title of En-Hor. One of my titles of Ahati was En-Hor. In Sebennytus, the proper name or the Medu Neter name for Sebennytus was the Teb Neter, which is the capital of the 12th nome of Lower Egypt. And another name was the Per-En-Her. So En-Her this is from the Met Museum. En-Her had many aspects. Among them, he was a hunter. See, back to the hunter, back to Neith, whose prowess represented the control of chaotic forces. He was there to protect Ra. He was there to protect the light. He was there to protect the Ba. He was there to protect the Ku against the chaotic forces that enter us throughout the day, whether we notice them or not, called Isfet or Pep. So he protected the sun god Ra's bark against Apet, and apparently already, at least from the late 18th dynasty, he was identified with Shu, back to the feather that you saw on the scale, and incorporated in versions of the myth of the fairway goddess as the agent sent by Ra to retrieve his angry lioness daughter from Nubia. And myth and Nubia are not correct terms. Myth comes from Mithin, which is one of the titles of Osiris, and it actually means erect penis. So back to the picture I showed you for hailing, when a male is erect, he is courageous and strong. He hails. And Nubia, there's no such word as Nubia. They're trying to take that from Nub, which means gold. And that's a whole nother class. And here is one image of Mahet. Oh, wait a second. Okay, let's start wrapping this up. So I'm going to read you an excerpt from Miriam Lyncham's Volume 2 book, Haru and Set's Epic 80-Year Battle. I'm only going to read excerpts. If you want to read the whole thing, you can. Okay, 214. You see the books I have here. You can always get these books for free on Internet Archives. If you do, I suggest you download them like me, just in case, because I've been hearing talk that the internet, and it's always good, that the internet can shut down. But we're not in control of the internet. Just remember that. So at any moment, we might have a show next week, and the internet's not coming back on. So it's my suggestion that go over there to internetarchive.org and download as many books as you can before they start hiding this information for real. Okay, so this is page 214 from what's going on here? Wait a second. Truth and falsehood, that's not it. Hold on a second. I thought it gave the title here. I guess it doesn't. Maybe I'm already in it. Okay, that's what it is. So Miriam Lyncham's calling this, here it is. Miriam Lynchem Volume 2 is going to be called Haru and Set, or Horus and Set, by the Chester Beatty Papyrus. If you use the literature of ancient Egypt by William Simpson, it's in there too, the anthology. It's called The Contendings of Horus and Seth. Okay, so I'm only going to read some highlighted parts to get some context here. So basically, 80-year battle. An 80-year battle was going on between these two, between Osiris and what is going on here? Hold on a second. This isn't right. Search. Oh, maybe I spelled it wrong. Did I spell it wrong? Okay, there it is. That should be it. Okay, here we go. So for those of you that are new, you might have heard of this epic battle between Heru and Set. The battle occurred because of Heru's father and Set's brother Osiris. They had their own battle previously. And Osiris ended up... Let me get off the screen for a second so I can give you some context. So Osiris had we have to understand, Set wasn't when we're born, we're not good or bad, we're not evil, we're just born. And the information that is put into us at birth, creates who we are going to become in early life, and eventually this is just way too much work for people to change if they don't want to stay that person at birth. So there was a great battle between Set and Osiris because Set had changed. Set used to be a great warrior. He used to protect Ra on his boat, battling a Pep. He was also known as a slayer at one time, a killer. He would slay a Pep. And but he changed. He turned. His fed grew in him, and he got jealous. He got envious of Osiris, and he killed him. And that's a whole nother story in itself. And if you have a question for Saba, you can ask him there. It's a great, great story if you haven't read it. But I'm not going to go into too much here, just for time purposes. I'll just give you a backstory. So, of course, naturally, it is natural to feel anger, hurt, revenge. This is not Bible talk. See, the Bible teaches you to turn the other cheek. If you're in a fight, I don't know how many of you have been in a fight, but if you turn the other cheek, there's a possibility you're dead. And instinctively, the body doesn't want to turn the cheek. So that right there tells you something isn't right when Jesus is telling us to turn the other cheek. Something is right. You're telling me to do something that instinctively my body doesn't want to do. My body wants to protect itself at all means, and it will. So the Netter never advocated turn the other cheek. They advocated revenge. And when you take revenge, you better do it on a firm standard, on a firm stance, and you fight to the death if you have to. And that's what Heru did. Heru naturally was pissed because you just killed the man's father. I don't care if you're my uncle or not. You just killed my father. And so they went to battle. 80 years fighting. I know a minute in a fight is exhausting. Have you ever been in a fight and you're giving it your all? 1 minute, you're like, the adrenaline's going, so you don't feel that. But when you're done, you feel the soreness, the pain, they're fighting for 80 years. So the Netiru are getting tired of this. The Netiru are getting tired of the other Netiru are getting tired of this because it's just too much chaos. And they need to get things done. They have a movement of themselves. And Kemet needs to be brought back into order. So what I'm going to read now is parts of that story between Haru and Set, and Neith being the counsel, being the great advisor she is, to give counsel to oh, excuse me. I'm just reading something. I thought there's a back comment. Okay. So we're gonna get into that, and we're gonna see how the Netiru revered her and respected her. All right, let's do it. So again, I'm just going to read second sections because it's too long. Oh, shut it off again. What are you doing here? Okay. Okay, so while I'm going through this, I'm going to have to explain some of these names because some of them you might not know. Okay. So the council's already taking place. Haru and Set are within this council. Just imagine there's this big meeting hall, the big Ma'ati. The big hall was called the Ma'ati, and they're in the Ma'ati, and they're the Neteret and the Neter are sitting together, and they're surrounding Haru and Set in this giant circle. And people have questions. People are arguing. People are infighting amongst each other while council is taking place. This is real life experience, not fantasy. It says they brought Benajed, which is another title for Osiris, because Osiris is the Techet, or the backbone, and that's a whole other class. So they brought Benajed, which is Osiris, the great god who dwells in Setut, before a tomb, along with Ptah Ta Tenin. He said to them, "Judge between the two youths, so that they will stop wrangling here every day." Then Benajed, the great living god, what'd that say? It said Benajed, the great living God. So right here, according to the scribes of Ma'at, according to the Netiru's recollection of their experience, they're saying Osiris was a living God. They said he and living means to be alive, right? Then Benajed, the great living God, replied to what he had said. "Let us not decide in ignorance. Have a letter sent to Neith, the great, the divine mother, the Amut or Amutet. What she will say we will do." Whoa. Hold up. The Netter are writing letters to each other? What is good? In a modern version, it's texting, like we text today. The Netter are texting. These are invisible beings, right? These are magical beings. How are they writing letters? And on top of that, the great Osiris is not making the ordinance or the judgment. It will be the female. It will be the Netter, the Netteret. What she will say, we will do. Not what she said. I don't give what she's saying, man. I don't care what she's saying. I'm Osiris. I was battling him before she even came on the scene at this council. I ain't doing nothing she says. No. Real simple. Real precise. What she will say, we will do. Period. Then the Enad. The Enad is the Greek word for Peshet. Peshet goes back to the pest, which is also the spine or light spine, which also means the number 9, which deals with the original material or goddesses and gods. The Greeks called it Enad. Then the Enad said to Benjened, the great living God, they will have been judged once already in the hall, the way of truth, which is the Ma'ati. And the Peshet said to Tahuti in the presence of the Nebuchadnezzar, or the All-Lord, write a letter to Neith, the Great, the Divine Mother, in the name of the All-Lord, the Bull of Anu, or the Bull of On. And Tahuti said, I will. Oh, man. I'm laughing because I can picture us on a panel doing something like this. These netters weren't like, okay, man, these netters had their own personalities, their own minds. So Tahuti says, I will, because I guess he's being rushed. Or they kept repeating it. He's like, hey, I got it. I will. He sat down to write the letter, which said, the king of Upper and Lower Egypt, T.O.M, beloved of Tahuti, the lord of the two lands, the Helopolitan, the Aten, who illumines the two lands with his lustrate, the happy, the mighty in his risings, the Ray Harakuti, to Neith the Great, the Divine Mother, who shone on the first face, who is alive, hale and young, the living Ba of the All-Lord, the Bull of On, who is the good king of Egypt, says as follows. I, your servants, spend the night on behalf of Osiris, taking counsel. So within this council, they're not leaving the council. They're actually spending the night together because that's how serious this issue is. They want to get it done. They're not going off playing video games. They're not going off because they have a basketball game to go to. They're not going off because they're going to a cookout. They're not going off because they got to go to the Tamahu at Target and punch into the time clock. No, this is very serious because this is dealing with our collective mind state, and it could destroy the whole nation. I, your servants, spend the night on behalf of Osiris, taking counsel for the two lands every day, while Sobek endures forever. Sobek was the son of Neith. That's a whole other class. What shall we do about these two people? Okay. What shall we do about these two people? So they're calling Heru and Set people. We call each other people. What shall we do about these two people who for 80 years now have been before the tribunal and no one knows how to judge between the two? Write us. What should we do? Then Neith the Great, the Divine Mother, sent a letter to the Enad. So now how is Neith writing without digits, without fingers? How is she writing with a joint, a wrist joint? Because you have to flex your wrist joint in order to move your fingers. How is she writing without the forearm, the biceps? Is she doing it telepathically? It doesn't say that here, so I have to assume not. Then Neith the Great, the Divine Mother, sent a letter to the Peshat saying, give to the office of Osiris to his son Haru, and don't do those big misdeeds that are out of place, or I shall get angry, and the sky will crash to the ground. And let it be said to the All-Lord, the Bull of On, double sets possessions, give him a knot and Astarte, your two daughters, and place Haru on the seat of his father. So the way this works is that you don't have to, at least in this instance, just because two people are having an argument doesn't mean that you have to hold a grudge for a lifetime and cut them off. Boom, see ya. Oh, you disagree with me, peace. No. Hear their point of view. Realize, and this is for myself included when I'm speaking. I'm not just saying this to you. This is for me too. when I deal with people, I don't want to initially cut them off if they hurt me or they do something wrong to me. I want to see their strengths and where they actually help me, and then make my assessment from them if they're meant to be cut off or not. And it's usually to protect oneself. That's something healthy. So Neith sees the strengths in Seth, know that he did have good attributes at one time, but right now he just isn't a good fit for the Natiru in their mindset. So they don't want to leave him high and dry. And on top of it, they're giving him Anunnaki. So now we're tying in the Anunnaki story, in a Kemetic story. But if you go to Wikipedia, they'll have you believing that these are two separate cultures that existed they are two separate cultures, but they'll have you believing that they're two, they existed at two separate time periods. No. The letter of Neith the Great, the Divine Mother, reached the Peshat as they sat in the hall, horned Haru, and a letter was placed in the hand of Tahuti. Then Tahuti read it aloud before the All-Lord in a whole Peshat. So if you want to read that, go ahead, but I'm not going to read it because for time purposes, but I do suggest you read it because it's good. Because it's talking about... because Tahuti goes in. This is how the Netter worked. The Netter didn't just say, "Oh, Haru is the son of Osiris. Osiris was killed by Set. Osiris is a bitch. He's a punk. He's an asshole. He's this and that. Oh man, we should all kill him." No. They said even though they were advocating for Haru, they said, "Man, Haru, your breast stinks." They said, thereupon the All-Lord became angry and said to Haru, "You are feeble in body, and this office is too big for you, you youngster whose breath smells bad." So they weren't just buddy with Haru Bahutet or Haru just because he's Haru. Like you hear brothers today, like, "Oh, I'm mighty Haru, I'm mighty Haru." No, just be you, brother. Because even in the Tiru said that Haru's breast stank. That's how real they got. Okay, so the letter was read. People got angry because if somebody says your breast stinks and you take it a certain way, you will get angry. Others are accepting the truth. Like, okay, maybe we gotta go get some toothpaste, get some dental floss, get a tongue scraper, get some dental tools. Get some mouthwash, get some Tom's toothpaste, peppermint, fluoride free. Start going to work at night. Double time. But some people will get angry. Then the Peshat cried out aloud to the All-Lord and said to him, "What are these words you spoke which are not worthy of being heard?" Then said Haru, the son of Osset, which is Isis, which the Greeks call Isis. Her true name was Osset. "It is not good to defraud me before the Peshat, and to take the office of my father Osiris away from me, because the council was going to take that from Haru, because they didn't agree with Haru or Set, because the battle's been going on for 80 years strong. They're just tired in general, and it gives somebody that's not even a part of this situation, this infighting within the family. They just couldn't deal with it anymore. So they're ready to give it away to somebody else. And Offset, being the protectress that she is, because the Netherets were our protectors and are still. They just don't know it to a certain extent, some of them. Offset was willing to fight for her son. And she was very angry, and she said she took an oath before the Peshat saying, "As my mother lives, the goddess Neith, and as Tatenin lives, the tall plumed horn Kerber of gods, these matters shall be laid before T.O.M, the great prince of An, and also Keperah and his bark." Then the Peshat said to her, "Don't be angry. Right will be given to him who is right. All that you said shall be done." So they always wanted to stick with Maat. That's all that matters. There's no feelings here. There's no, "Oh man, this guy, he's got a great personality. Let's kick away him and throw this guy to the curb." No, none of that. What is Ma'at? What is Ma'at? What is Ma'at? What is the truth? What is the evidence? And it's interesting when you start living like that. when you start living like that, your life becomes very very attractive and very entertaining. A lot of things start happening to you that, now this is just my opinion, I'm going to state that doors and opportunities open to you that you couldn't even imagine, because they were closed because of your mindset. I believe there is some more. Oh, what am I doing here? I think I'm doing the wrong thing. Let me go back. Maybe that was it. Okay, so that was it. So what was the point of that? The point of that was come on, Google. Come on, Google. Let's go. What is this it? Let me see. Things are okay. Here we go. All right. So the point of that is that they utilize Neith as the only one to be able to have the truth at that moment, because she is the truth. She literally created the subatomic particles to create the beings that now define a word that calls truth, because there's not really a quote-unquote truth. There's only the vibration and frequency, hence Ptah Tenon, that gives you that truth, that gives you that great feeling that's within you. That's why a lot of people today, you hear them say, well, this is my truth. This is my truth. And some people disagree with that no, Maat's the only truth. But you can't argue with somebody's vibration and frequency. That's just the way they're feeling. And if that's their truth at the moment, it could be their truth, because they're going off of vibration and frequency. And that vibration and frequency goes back millions of years prior to me being in this physical body, speaking and talking like this Homo sapien sapien today, when there was many more prior to me, many more models of me. And this is where we get very, very small, as I mentioned in the beginning, is that we're so small individually that this is why we need to group up collectively with a unified mindset, because not a few people, not a small group of people, but the Comedians understood that in order for a nation to birth, to grow, and to continue to grow, they had to always resort back to what their standards were, to what created their actual physical being. Because as you see, they call themselves people. But they knew first that their mind came from what they know as Net or Neith, which is the quantum realm. And I actually just told a gentleman yesterday, when I was out, he was homeless, and he mentioned something about my shirt, and that started a conversation, and he had a great attitude, and he said, yeah, man, he said, I was thinking about drinking, and he said, I was thinking about, I'm just going to walk down the street in downtown LA, and I'm going to get me a beer. Somebody's going to pass me a beer. He said, man, I don't know why I was doing that, but I was just thinking it's going to happen. It's going to happen because it happened before to me, so it's going to happen again. And lo and behold, he did get that beer, because that's really how it works. And it actually, as a small side note, the more you are in this Meadow Netter class, the more you are in your studies outside of the class, the more you are actually walking around here and emulating, because this is how this works too, emulating people you revere, but especially the Netiru. And then you're going to sleep and you're talking to them before you go to sleep, before you go into the Upesh. Your whole life is just encompassed with them. The things you want start to come like this. They start to come lightning fast. And you also have to be careful, because the Isfet is still coming too. Just not as much. It seems like not as much, but remember, the people, it's not just our frequencies out there. The people all around us are emulating frequencies too that we feel. And sometimes we don't feel consciously. And I'm very careful. I'm very, I know immediately when something's off, and I go to work and get it out of me. Now it's very quick, very quick. Before I was learning, so I didn't really know what to do. And sometimes it would sabotage me. But now it's in and out, in and out. And that's a great tool to have. And those of you that are in the chat and listening in the future, it's a great tool to utilize too if you're not already doing that. And you get that from these stories because the stories give you inspiration as well. Okay, so to end, the netch means to take counsel with someone, to seek advice, to talk a matter over. And then we have the netch raw, means to consult about a matter, to take counsel, to discuss, to debate a matter. And there's nothing wrong with debating. There's a difference between debating and quarreling. Quarreling is, there's nothing wrong with arguing. It's the quarreling part. It's the petty stuff. So if I don't like a shirt that Scribe's wearing and I start a quarrel over that's petty. But if there's something that we disagree on, then there's a time for debate as well. Both points of view need to be heard. To be eloquent, to play an orator, somebody that's good at taking counsel, eventually becomes great at giving speech or giving spoken word. To make an order after due deliberation. We think before we speak, and if there's nothing to speak on, a lot of times it's better to be silent. And address counsel consultation. So thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. And the haters out there that didn't, I really don't care. All right, I'll be back, brothers.
Otep, can y'all brothers hear me?
Otep, I can hear you loud and clear, brother.
Otep, brothers. Ahati, my brother, that was excellent. That's what I was missing, guys. Y'all know I've been on a trip. It seemed like I've been gone for a month. I only been gone for a week. Was up in the mountains, and I really missed that Friday Metal Netter class, my Sabbath class. I missed everything, man. I missed that Ma'at consciousness. And yeah, I'm so appreciative, man, to be back with you guys, because this is a safe space. And I missed so much. Scribe, I didn't even realize. First of all, let me say this to everybody. I thought I was going to have a connection. So I thought I was going to be here, Manku. I thought that my internet was going to be working and everything, but it wasn't. So I wasn't able to be here. But in relating all of these different teachings that we get every Sunday and every Friday, one of the beautiful things that Brother Ahati touched on that I just want to touch on real quick is how the mescanet is our fate, and how what we say ties in, and how breaking the cycle. So he showed the etymology, if I remember correctly. I can't go back to it, but he showed the etymology of fate. Guys, everybody in the chat, y'all need to get that etymology dictionary, because it really does break the spells. So he showed the etymology of fate, which means literally the things spoken by the gods, is what he said. The etymology of fate is literally a thing spoken by the netter. Man, listen, I've missed that Ma'at consciousness. Just being gone for a week and not getting no metal netter it was very, very, very challenging for me, because I wasn't surrounded by I wasn't getting the knowledge and the information that I was accustomed to getting. I was around a lot of Tamahus and a lot of Tamahu energy, and it was just very different. And one of the things that I'm
Mommy.
gonna say, man, listen, let me tell you guys something. One of the things that helped me on this trip, first of all, I was with my family and we went on a winter vacation that for those of you that have ever been on a winter vacation, I was asking for it. I've been asking for it for a long time. I'll never ask again. I will never ask again. But one of the things that was so beautiful was my way of thinking and what the Metal Netter has done for me and what Saba has done for me as far as breaking that fear cycle that we're all in as melanated people, you know, because once you are able to understand the truth, and once you start to see the truth, then it eliminates a lot of foolishness, man. So when I was up in those mountains, I began to realize that I'm supposed to be here. Like at first it was very scary for me initially because the tones that I had to tell myself initially were fear tones. That's what was coming out. That's what my thinking was. So let me just paint this picture, guys. I'm in the mountains. My whole family's there. I'm driving through a snowstorm on the edge of a mountain, and I felt safe. I felt protected. Why? Because I know the Metal Netter. And the whole time I was driving, I was just Unky and Ma'at, you know, that one utterance. So I just want to thank you for touching on how important the utterances and how the Metal Netter and how our ancestors, what they left for us. I just want to just touch on that and how beautiful it was, because that's one of the things that I missed so much in being away from you guys, being away from the chat, being away from learning, because I thought that I was going to be able to be on my computer and be in my books, but I was mentally exhausted after driving through the snowstorm and spending time with my family and making sure my family was safe. But one of the things that was so beautiful was that I knew in my ib, I knew in my heart that my family was going to be safe. Why? Because I'm a leader and I was there, and the Nitiru are real. So I did have my Per M Haru, and I was able to touch on it and go into it at night a little bit. Not as much as I would like to, but I just want to stress to the chat, man, how important the tones and what we speak, how important it is. And the last thing before I go, I just want to touch on is we do have the power to break the cycle, because I too was a victim of a lot of trauma growing up, and we're able to break that cycle. We are, with intelligence and positive thinking, and the Netter are real. And I'm glad that you illustrated that in that beautiful story of the contendings of Horus and Set. And those of you that have not got that book, you got to check that book out, because these are our stories, and they're beautiful. So without further delay, I'm gonna let you brothers talk. I know we got Minku on there. I know Scribe, we got a lot to share, but Ahati, that was a beautiful, beautiful presentation as always. I missed the Metal Netter, man. I missed this. So hail to you, and hail to the best internet on the planet, Saba Tahuti Amenhotep Ra. Hail to my great brother Scribe. My brother, I missed you so much. My brother Minku Araz, pleasure to have you back up on the panel. And it's a pleasure to be here with all of you. Angela Gates, Shannon, Anu, M. McKay, Unk, all you brothers and sisters in the chat, all you Netters and Nitiru, peace and love. Hotep Ma'at.
Go ahead, brother Minku.
Tua, for your words. Brother Arcad, Saba definitely missed you. He was definitely sharing that he missed you. So it's so great to have you back, brother. Hail Ahati for such a great, wonderful teaching. I took lots of notes. I really loved how you talked about, I loved all of it, but I just recently got some teaching about we are not individuals and we are dependent on nature. So I like how you talked about the hexagon That was excellent. That was beautiful. I did not know any of that. That was very powerful. And then I just wanted to share too this new understanding that I have, and that is language is the best expression of culture. We are in a cultural war, and we are not winning because the masses of melanated people don't know the language, culture, or the Netzeru. And the Medu Netzer is the language of the Netzeru. And so it's so important for us to learn that. And Ahati, obviously, you knew the importance of that. And you learned under our master teacher, Saba Tahuti. And everything that you learn and what you live is coming through in your teachings. And I love how your presentations, I like how accurate and precise and how they're seamless with your calmness and your strength and all of your knowledge and wisdom. I learned so much. I took a lot of notes. So Tua, for your time, your dedication, and your teaching. Peace.
Yes, the great brother,
brother.
Great brother Ahati Maat, bringing the flames and fire as usual. I love it, and yes, absolutely beautiful what you brought forth with the Netert Neith. She's very, very, very powerful and influential in our ability of what today in the modern day understanding of what speaking into existence is about, and being able to weave together the frequencies to create our reality. Yeah, that was absolutely beautiful, and really showcasing how important she is with giving her the decision on who should take the throne between Heru and Set. So that was that's a very, very powerful teaching and story of the Natiru, you know, and I also love how you emphasize how within these stories they're not speaking about when the Cometians and the scribes were writing this, they weren't writing this as a metaphorical principality story. That's something that we just made up today. And so it's very important that, and I'm very, very appreciative for you for bringing that out and really showcasing that and standing firm on that and really pinpointing the small details that people would just overlook, because in their consciousness of what the Greeks created with the myth, it makes us to remove that and automatically not associate that with what the actual Cometians wrote and what they meant by what they wrote. So to you, great brother Ahati, it was an excellent presentation. The link to the panel is posted in the chat. So if anybody wants to come up and give brother Ahati your adoration and some words of encouragement for the T.O.M. and some gratitude, or just let us know how you feel about the presentation.
Or I don't mean to cut you off, or if you're scared to do that, just hit the like button. If you hit the like button when you come in, or if you're going out, you can still let us know that you're grateful for your teaching. But if you don't like it, you have opportunity to come up here and tell us too. We would prefer that, but that probably won't happen.
Yeah, you're right. But the panel is open. The panel is open. We love to see the people who are connecting with on these airwaves. We love to hear the tones of your voice. And it's very important for others to see that as well, that there are actual physical people who are listening to this information and taking this information in and appreciate this, right? So when you can physically see someone, it does something to the subconscious to let you know that that is an actual person there speaking and giving their thoughts that comes from their Eve with the energy of the Medu Netcher and the Natiru. So the link is posted. It's posted to the top. I'll put it again in here so you all can come on. You know, don't be shy. This is a space that we created to allow any and all people to come up here and you know, there's no real pressure. A lot of these panels, you have to be very careful about what you say, because automatically we'll be on attack mode. You gotta be on defense. So right now we invite you to the panel to just speak how you feel, and you know, let us know your thoughts. So we definitely appreciate everyone who comes up to the panel, who has come up to the panel in the past. The great brother Cash Peden, Shannon Southard, she's came up to the panel. I would love to see Maharu come up to the panel. I would love to speak to you.
Rebel Minded.
Shout out to you, brother. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing okay. Let's see who else has came up to the panel. Big Vapes, of course.
Big Vapes.
Yeah, yep. Big Vapes is a great brother who definitely supports the T.O.M. and is very consistent. So that's an excellent brother. So yes, hit the link. Hey, Jason Kirkland, we would love to have you on the panel too, good brother. We'd love to see you here on the T.O.M. This is a brother who is in the Medu class, so he's definitely a student of the Medu Nature and is learning these very sacred and light tones. So shout out to you. So you always will see him putting the Medu Nature in the class, in the chat room. So shout out to you, good brother. So yes, definitely come in. Don't be shy. Don't be afraid. The panel is open for you.
Yes, please.
Yeah, come join us. Go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead, Aminku.
I was just going to say, please send in your reciprocity. It takes a lot of time, loyalty, dedications to deliver a teaching of that caliber. So please send in your reciprocity. Ahati deserves it.
I'll just say this now: if no reciprocity comes in, I'm not presenting until it does. So if you don't value what I just gave you, then you don't value me, and then there's no reason for me to present to you, because this takes time out of my day. I could be doing other things. So.
Well, you heard.
I want these.
I'll be straight up. So when the rotation goes around, and there's nothing saying, "Oh, Ahati's presentation a couple weeks ago was great" or whatever. If nothing, the scribe doesn't say anything, I'm not sharing. So I'll know. That's just straight up. I'm not wasting my time. I'm not doing that. If I hear something on another channel. Because I don't just listen to this stuff all day. I listen to other people that teach me other things that I need in the course of my life. And you know what? I send them a Cash App. I send them money. They don't know it because I put anonymous, but I send them money because it's value for value. It's value for, you'll go right now and buy a cheeseburger that you value because it tastes great. If this teaching didn't taste great to you, I know that you don't value me. I know. Yeah, there's no excuse. I always say this, but there's no excuse. You can go right down to the welfare office. You can get put on $200 cash assistance. You could take $1 from that cash assistance and throw it in the pot. Or you can go to the homeless guy in the corner, because homeless people love giving money too. They say, "Hey man, I've went to my pockets. I don't have anything in my pockets. Can you spare $1?" And the homeless person might have got blessed. And the homeless people are so gracious. Even when they get blessed, they want to give it away. And they'll give you $1.
It's like I said, people do what's important to them. People absolutely do what's important to them and spend money where they think it's important. So it's just a shame. It's unfortunate that we don't appreciate the knowledge and the wisdom when it's presented to us. But we'll support the ignorance, and we'll support the lie all day. We'll support the weave and the eyelashes and the Doritos and the Isfet and the lie and everything that destroys our people. You know what else we'll support? We'll support the PBA, and we'll support the police as they shoot our children and kill them out in the middle of the street. We'll support that before we'll support real knowledge and wisdom when it's presented to us, right? with ancestral artifacts, right, will support everything else that destroys us and destroys our people. Because
So
that's
there's
who we
29
are, and we
people.
refuse to break the cycle.
There's 29 people watching right now, and I know you hear me. So I know some things I say people don't agree with. A lot of things I say they don't agree with. I understand that. But try to remove me from the message. Try to do that. Try to take me away from the message and just focus on the messenger. So there's things that Farrakhan says, but personally I don't like Farrakhan. Just from my research on him. Personally I don't like him. But there's some things Farrakhan says I agree with. So I always focus on the message. So remove me from the message and go with that. Also, there's 3 other brothers on this panel with me. So it's not just a Ahati show speaking here. There's 3 other brothers on the panel here that need to be supported as well. Because this show takes energy and time to put together too. Arcat has a family, he has things to do. He has to come and show up. Scribe has things to get done on his side. Same with Menkura. So it's just a thing that is keeping the energy going. And listen, I understand. I'm dealing with something right now with finances. I get it. I totally get it. But I always seem to have 4 quarters. I always have something. I have 4 quarters or a paper dollar. And if you don't have that, well, let us know that too. I'd love to know that, especially in this day and age. Because then that means that you're a homeless person on the street, and I'd love to hear your story.
Shout out to Harass Did. For Ye Culture, he says he bought a physical copy of your book tonight, Ahati. Shout out to you.
And I want to highlight this sister. I don't know who she is. Like, I've never seen her. Leave this up on the screen, please, whoever pinned it. This sister has the energy I had when I met Saba. When I met Saba, and I understand he's Saba. I get it. I get that. When I met Saba, I wanted to give him the world if I could. So whatever I had, finances, whatever I had, I gave to him. I was homeless. I'll tell you. I was literally sleeping on the concrete in a church, in a nice church, because they wouldn't bother me or I was just safe. I'm not going to say anymore. I was just safe. I was literally hustling every day, taking my hustle money, storing like a squirrel, storing. So I amounted thousands. And I've never shared this till now. I wasn't going to share, but it needs to be said. That's how serious it gets. Thousands and thousands. A guy living on the street. That's why I stress the homeless thing so much. Living on the street. Thousands. No problem. Here you go. Because to me, in Harass Did For Ye culture, it's that serious. That's what this comes down to. The gentleman on the panel, it's that serious. And I don't care. This is how I talk, this is how I am. I rub a lot of people the wrong way. I don't care. I'll hurt your feelings so we can get to the objective, so we can conquer that goal. Because it's that serious. It is that serious. This is not a joke. I don't know how many times I gotta keep saying this. Your mind state is not a joke. You have the most powerful weapon between your 2 ears, but you don't know how to use it yet. And that's what we're here for. And our energy and our time could be doing to building ourselves and advancing ourselves even more. And some people say, well, Ahati, that's arrogant. That's arrogant, man. Who do you think you are? Yeah, I'm Ahati Maat. That didn't mean a moon. If you want to come talk to me, send me an email. I'd love to talk to you and break it down for you. Because it's value for value. We'll spend money at the basketball games because it makes it feel good. We'll spend money on cheeseburgers. Nothing against any of these things. It makes you feel good. I get it. But this doesn't make you feel good unless you put work in. It doesn't make you feel good unless you put something into it. And then I'll tell you something, and Saba could tell you, when I first met Saba, that wasn't, I found my aunt and now everything is blissful and running. I went to prison for 2 years. I went to prison for 2 years. And I never said this publicly either. I only said I went to prison for 2 years. I was in my aunt in prison. I was teaching a guy that looked like Menkura. I thought Menkura when I first met him was Brian. from Fresno. I thought he was Brian from Fresno because Saba said there's a guy he might be familiar. I thought it was Brian. It's Vancouver Rock, somebody different from Fresno, and he was paying me with cookie packets and soup and peanut butter and jelly packets. And we're sitting in the middle of these guys playing spades and whist and slamming dominoes and fighting and gangs and politics. And here we are sitting there, and I'm teaching the brother. And the shot caller didn't like it because the brothers were seeing me do this. And so he started pressing me, and I wouldn't stand down. And I stood firm at the expense of my life being taken. I remember it very vividly. He called me a mark. He said I was marked. I'm standing with my eye. Kill me in the showers, I'm standing in my eye. That's how serious it gets. I came out homeless again. A crazy van ride, they put you in a kennel. I feel so sorry for the dogs. They put you in a kennel or hunched over. They still handcuff you when you're free. And they take you all the way back from Susanville, California, which is Northern California, all the way back to Los Angeles County and just drop you on the street in Skid Row. And they're driving, the sheriffs are driving all crazy, and we're like this, and you get motion sickness, and you can't do nothing because you don't want to throw up on the guy next to you because you don't want to piss him off. That's how serious it gets. I pop out, I'm walking around all night, my shins are hurting because I've never walked that much because all you can walk is in a yard all day. Walk around a yard. That's not really walking, and then you're just in a dorm all day, locked up. And the first thing I wanted to do when I got out? After 2 years of no contact, see Saba. And I did. I walked to his house. So I will leave it there. If I am not important to you, then F off. The people that do believe I'm important and do support me, Ahati Maat. Because Neith also represented the two arms, the embracer. So I embrace you. Brothers on the panel, I am very proud of you. You brothers are solidifying like Voltron. This new brother, Jason Kirkland's in the chat, chopping it up, dropping his hails. I see that. Nobody was hailing before us. Nobody. Not even the whites. The last whites that hailed, they got their nation destroyed. It's that serious. All right, Jason, what's up, brother? Hotep.
Welcome, Jason. Hotep.
Hotep, Jason.
Hotep, my eye, good, man. Hotep, my eye. Hey, I just appreciate you, though, man. All you good men on the panel. And to all you. And I thank y'all for y'all teachers, y'all time, y'all energy. I mean, it's much appreciated. I'm out here with my daughter and my family right now, so probably a little background. That's all.
Yes, two out to you, good brother, for coming up to the panel, for showing yourself and letting us receive your energy and letting the panel receive your energy as well. It's very important. So two out to you for stepping up and coming up here with us, good brother. You fit right here with us. So two out to you. So
yes, brother. Two out to you. Go ahead. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I do want to. Of course, there are plenty of good brothers and sisters who support us, and we always hail those people who definitely send in support and support the teachings of Ma'at and all the good brothers here on this panel. So, of course, we're gonna go down the line and start to show some of the support that you all sent in. All right. First, we'll start with Eric G. We have Eric Gaidio. He sent 777 support for the T.O.M. So two out to you, good brother. We appreciate you. All right, next. I didn't know what I was seeing at first because this good brother has been in the shadows for a minute. So let's give a shout out and hail to the good brother Black Alucard. He sends $10. Peace and love to you, good brother. I'm glad to see you, and I know that you are here and okay. It's been a minute since we've seen you, good brother, and I would love to be able to see you and speak with you as well. So if you're not part of our Discord community, hit that link in our chat and join our Discord. And so that way you can be in our meeting on the 28th at 4 p.m. Pacific time. We would love to hear your voice, good brother. So Tu'a for your support. All right, next we have the great sister Maria Ben Sebi, and she sends 3333. She says, Tu'a, Ahati, for such a fantastic presentation. Yeah, give her some bombs. So Tu'a to you, great sister, for your support. You came in and supported us very, very graciously. So Tu'a to you, you are definitely leading by example. So shout out to you. All right, next we have the great brother who is sitting on the panel, good brother Minku Ara, Mary Ma'at. He sent 2772. Tu'a for your loyalty. So peace and love to you, great brother Minku, who always consistently supports.
Appreciate you.
Ninia.
Great brother Minku. All right, let's keep going. We have Amun Men Ra Sut Atum. I love that tone. $10 for support. We appreciate you. That's a nice profile picture you have too right there. Looking at Ra, I like that. Tu'a to you for your support. You've been consistent. So Tu'a to you is definitely appreciated, great brother. All right. And of course, the other great brother who is on the panel, Jason Kirkland, Solar Flyer. He sends 572.
That's who you are. I was wondering who that is on Discord. Okay.
Yeah,
that's who you are. Okay. I think you sent me a friend. I didn't know who you were. So, okay, I'll add you, brother. I didn't know that was you. Okay.
Absolutely, yes. Tu'a for the Nefer presentation. Nefer meaning beautiful. Neter Ahati Maat. Tu'a, great brother, for that support.
It's good to see people appreciate the truth. It's good to see. It's a few of us out there, Ahati. You guys got to remember, if it was not for this great brother Ahati, those of us that love and appreciate our Saba would not know of a Saba Tahuti Amenhotep Ra. And that goes for a lot of us. So, hail to Ahati Ma'at.
Absolutely. And we have a $9.99
hail to you, brother.
Support for Ruffian Era Records. He says, Hotep Namaste. That must be
Namaste.
Is that you, Big Vapes? Is that you, Big Vapes? I know you always say Hotep Namaste. Continuing the good work in honor of Ma'at. So peace and love to you. Ruffian Era Records. 999. All right. And so far, that's the support that has came through. We definitely appreciate every single person who supports, because there's a lot of people who don't support the truth, right? And we don't spend too much time and attention on those, because there are those who do appreciate. And it's been a time where we're starting to make a shift in our consciousness to where we can really start to understand that these teachings are food for the soul, for the ba, and it literally can assist you in being able to attain anything that you want in this physical reality. So, for those who understand that, will have no problem giving reciprocity to these type of teachings and this information, because you can take this teaching that Ahati just gave you and use it and apply it and go get back threefold of what you just sent in. So it's very beautiful. It's very beautiful. This is a complete reciprocal system that has been created, and it's absolutely beautiful. So and shout out to all the great people who support.
Hey, that was Master K, not Big Babes.
Oh, Master K. Okay, peace,
Yeah.
peace, Master
Appreciate
K.
you, Master K. Jason, did you want to share more, or you're good? I know you got something to say, brother. You talk a lot in the chat.
You gotta unmute yourself, brother. Go ahead.
I was just trying to pay my respects to you all, man. I mean, hello to y'all, and I mean, how you said it's good to speak and listen though. So I'm just showing my gratitude for you, man. I appreciate all you.
You look young too. You're young, huh?
Ha! I'm 36, brother.
Oh, great, great. We got great genetics. We got great genetics. Oh, we got somebody else coming up on here.
Hold on, turn your
show your
camera
screen
on.
though,
Eric
brother.
G. Eric G.
Where the sisters at? Come on, I know there's some great. I know. I've talked to some courageous sisters up in this chat before.
All right.
Eric G. Looks like Mortal Technique. What do Mortal Technique have? You dance with the devil?
Peace, good brother. Eric G. Shout out to you, brother. How are you?
Good.
Welcome, brother.
Oh, you're chopping up.
You're chopping up. You're chopping up.
You're breaking up, Eric.
The pros.
Maybe you can come out and come back in. Come out and come back in.
Shout out to you, Eric G.
Yeah,
log out and log back in.
This is good. We're building what looks like a multicultural facet. Nobody knows who's Ma'at. That is key.
That's right.
Do you see how this country operates? Nobody knows who's the USA person. They all are different culture. That's exactly, man. If everybody, I know you brothers see it, but if everybody just realized what's being built here, you would never hesitate. There's something great being built here. Go ahead.
And from all over. Jason, where you from, brother? The East Coast, the West Coast, Midwest? You don't have to be specific, but...
I'm from the East Coast. East Coast.
Okay, that's what's up. Yeah, we got a lot. Yeah, we're definitely building, and that's the thing. It's the consciousness. That is what Ma'at is building. So it is bringing a very diverse group of netters together, and that's a beautiful thing. So shout out to you, Eric G. Try it again, brother. Try it again on your phone.
Oh, he's on
his
cell phone.
Try it again, brother. And shout out to you, Jason, for having. Yes, we do. We appreciate all the support. And this is how I got here, because I was not getting up on the screen at first. My goddess was like, listen, get up and show your face. I did not want to show my face. But Ma'at is motivating, guys. The truth is motivating. The truth motivates me. That's why I'm here. I don't know why all of you are here, but I'm here for the truth. And this is why I'll continuously come day in and day out, week after week, week after week. But I'm going to be real with y'all, right? And I know some of y'all that are new. When I first met Saba and I was watching him on the different platforms, I'm like, oh, he finna take everything back to Africa. Everything traces back to commit. I was like, oh, man, watch this. He finna take it back to Africa. Little by little by little, every single time I heard him speak, he just revealed the truth. And yes, everything does trace back to our culture. Shout out to you, Eric G. Let's try it again, brother. Hotep. Good, brother.
You look frozen.
It's a good try. Yeah, brother, you freezing.
Jason, what do you think about the volunteering for the movement? Sound like a good idea?
I'm all for it, my good brother. I just gotta work out a couple of little things, but yeah, I'm always for the support, brother. You know, it's like I'm with it. I love my eye. I like my eye and I love my eye.
You learned that from Saba, right?
You know we on the same frequency.
You already know.
You know I've already been communicating with the brother about that, so you already know we are connected as one.
That's great.
Brother,
that's beautiful, brother.
So he'll be a member. He'll be a member in the future. I look forward to it.
He'll be a member next week.
Wow. Wait a second. Let's give this. I wish we had a hailing sound effect. We might have to create
Look at this.
Create an authentic one.
Yeah,
Look at this brother said. This brother said, Enam MK It says, I'm living in Jamaica and we don't have cash apps. But guess what? My ancestors and Ma'at are working things out for me to be able to support soon. So you guys see how he just took that teaching of understanding the frequency of our tones and what we speak, and he just spoke it into existence. So shout out to you, Enam, for speaking it into existence, to be able to work things out, to be able to support in Jamaica. So you guys, you see that just because you don't know is not an excuse to not know, right? Just because it's not available now is not an excuse. Remember, we are the netters, and it's the consciousness that creates. It is us. So shout out to you, brother, for that. Speaking it into existence. Shout out to you, Eric G. We know you tried, good brother. He said, I tried, but I just wanted to keep up. Wanted to keep up the trouble, good brothers. Shout out to you, Eric G. And shout out to everybody that constantly supports. Week after week, we appreciate it. Shout out to all the sisters in the chat as well. This is a beautiful, beautiful show tonight, guys. Beautiful. This is what I was missing. I'm so looking forward to Monday Metal Netter class. Like the good brother Scribe said, if you're not already a part of it, make sure you sign up and contact Saba Tahuti Amenhotep Ra and get in the Monday Metal Netter class. I missed it last week, but I didn't miss it because I got it. I haven't been able to check it out yet, but I do not miss nothing. I didn't get a chance to check out last Sunday's class because I was traveling, but I have a lot of catching up to do. So again, there's no excuse. There is no excuse. Shout out to you, brothers.
The Meta Netter Monday was really good. Saba shared some straight up, some jewels, some stars.
Yeah, he sent it to me. He sent me the class. I just haven't had a chance. It was like 2 hours, 3 hours, 2.5 hours. I just haven't had a chance. I got a lot of catching up to do.
Scribe, never mind. I'll do that. Hey, let me show this video here. I'm going to show a quick video to the donors. Just give them their shout outs. Real quick. How do I do this? Oh, I think I can show it on the screen here. Nobody does it like teachingsofmaat.org. Nobody in the conscious community is bringing you anything. It's always reciprocity, always giving and taking, giving back to our donors. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Yes, to all the supporters, consistent.
Yes, and I love that we have to every show add on to it. That's the beautiful thing about it. We continuously are adding to the donation support video, and it's because we are consistently getting new supporters, new consistent supporters, and your support goes a very, very long way. So definitely appreciate each and every one of you. So before we close out, I definitely want to let you all know once again to make sure that you are in the Discord group. In 2 days, on Tuesday, on the 28th at 4 p.m., we are having our community meeting. It's open to everyone. So make sure you're there, come in and hear what we're doing, hear what we're working on, and also any questions that you have for us. So we definitely look forward to hearing from each and every one of you, and the Discord is growing beautifully. So definitely peace and love, and shout out to everyone who is a part of that. All right, so Medu Monday, make sure you are in the Medu Monday class. Email Saba Tahuti, and we'll post his email in the chat. It's mysticaltelevision@gmail. And if you can't be there live, you can still purchase the class. You can still purchase the class if you can't be there live. And it's very beautiful. You see, we go into the Meta Netter every single class because it's that important. So shout out to everyone for that. So peace and love. Make sure that for your goals for the week, you write them down. Take them from your thoughts and put them down physically on paper so you can read them. That's a reciprocity system as well, because you're giving and you're receiving at the same time. So as long as you stay in a continuous cycle, you'll always be able to create that and plant that seed in your subconscious to where it starts to act, because the majority of our consciousness is really the subconscious at work. So the more that you program your subconscious, the more your conscious reality starts to create itself around that. So peace and love to everyone. Shout out to everyone, and have a great, excellent week full of abundance and love and protection and enlightenment and ascension. And peace and love to all the great brothers and sisters. Hotep.
Hotep. You guys got any closing words? Good brother Jason, Minku, Ahati, y'all brothers got some closing words before we end it?
I'm good, brother.
I'm good. Peace.
Jason, you want to end it off with some beautiful words, brother? We appreciate you coming up to the panel.
Hey, man, I just appreciate y'all having me. I mean, much gratitude to everybody, and peace, light, and love, man.
Hotep. With that, we're going to end it. Thanks to another beautiful show. It feels good to be back. Scribe, you got any closing words?
Yes, I just closed out, good brother. So you can close us out with the affirmation.
All right. So peace and love, Hotep Ma'at. another beautiful class. We'd like to thank good brother Ahati, Ahati Maat, for that beautiful presentation. We're going to end it as we always do with our beautiful affirmation. We will end it. Good brother Scribe will put up the affirmation. So from the teachings today, from Miriam Litchum's page, volume 2, volume 2, page 215. Great teachings on the goddess Neith, the Natiru are real. Page 215, Miriam Litchum, volume 2. And Isis was angry with the Ennead, and she took an oath by the god before the Ennead, saying, as my mother lives, the goddess Neith, and as Ptah Tenin lives, the tall-plumed horn Kerber of gods, these matters shall be laid before Atum, the great prince of On, and also Keppera in his bark. Then the Ennead said to her, don't be angry. Right will be given to him who is right. All that you said shall be done. On the count of 3, Anki and Ma'at, An N-S, Nintet Oset and Ma'at, Min Hepapet and Ma'at, Her Inhuqui, Per Ikut. I live for Ma'at. I exist within her. I do not speak in the place of Ma'at. Every day I advance towards Ma'at. My being is surrounded in darkness. I come forth as conscious light. Peace and love, Hotep Ma'at.
Shed. Closed my eyes, then I woke up back in my bed. I could see my room as clear as looking through a lens. See, I thought I was awake, so then I tried to move. But my body shocked me like I was plugged in a socket. I started panicking and scrambling within my mental. I thought I died and now my body, I'm forever locked in. I was screaming, help me, someone help me please. But there wasn't any sound making it through my teeth. I could see movement in motion, shadows gather around me. How could I close my eyes already closed? Eating alkaline at this time, fasting Rizzo shocking. I was stuck in a paralysis, Fred had me froze. It's time to shed. It's time to shed. I heard a voice in the back of my head. Rebirth, it's time to shed. It's time to shed. It's time to shed. I heard a voice in the back of my head. Rebirth, it's time to shed. I finally started waking up and coming back. I was in the opposite of states effect. That's relaxed, I grabbed my phone and started to do research. Knowledge of what happened, I was in a lack. Insidious, the movie came direct to mind. Every time I seen this, it was connected to what's not divine. Demons crawling forcefully, holding the body down. Ain't no point in trying to scream, you will not make a sound. Deep within, I knew I made that a reality. The all is mine, I saw it, and so shall it be. I start replacing fear with knowing universe is mental. Talking to my subconscious to wake me up in dreams. Then one day my spirit guides came in so essential. Daylight astral playing loud in my dream helped to set me free. I'm back in paralysis, laying on my couch. But this time I was calm, ready to exit out. It's time to shed. It's time to shed. I heard a voice in the back of my head. Rebirth, it's time to shed. It's time to shed. It's time to shed. I heard a voice in the back of my head. Rebirth, it's time to shed. From what I read, I need to move my arms in front of me. See a rope and pull it, separate and then release. Now I'm out, I see my house is gleaming, I accept it. Looking in the mirror, staring at my car's reflection. I was so ecstatic, flying in every direction. This was months of subconscious reprogramming and redirection. Place my thoughts in my body, wake up, that's what I did. I was reborn from that day so I could start to live. It's time to shed. It's time to shed. I heard a voice in the back of my head. Rebirth, it's time to shed.
But I can only show you the door. You're the one that has to walk through it.